truck, and then he brought the keys.
From Fox 56 News, the Weather Authority, this is a severe weather alert.
Hey, welcome in everybody. Meteorologist Justin Esterly here to bring you some severe weather updates for our afternoon. We now have tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings across northern portions of the Fox 56 viewing area. And so buckle in, we're going to be discussing this for the duration of this event. Let's take a look at what things are doing right now. We're going to dive right into radar so you can see. Radar's a bit messy right now, but there are severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings in place for us currently. As these storms are starting to smash together, they could cause the opportunity for some spinning to take place and thus a tornado to be possible for us. It's a very messy look on radar here this afternoon. And so let's just try to break it down piece by piece. Currently, all across Harrison County, there's a tornado warning and a severe thunderstorm warning until 5 p.m. It also includes all of Bourbon County, for the northern half of Bourbon County, including the town of Paris, until 5 a.m. and then parts of Nicholas County, mainly the western portion from Carlisle pointing towards Paris. That tornado warning box is also in play till 5 p.m. As you look here on radar tonight, this line of storms is dropping in from the south and east. The entire line itself is capable of producing 60 to 70 mile-an-hour winds. Those are our initial threats here for us tonight. And along this line, we've got these little notches showing up. Right now, all this activity is radar indicated, but we have had some reports in far northern Kentucky out of Campbell with 56 mile-an-hour wind gusts being observed at our Kentucky Mesonote site. And so we've got that opportunity to continue tonight. These storms right now, as I look, are moving to the south and east at a pretty big clip. 50 miles an hour is the current pace with this. Let's get a look at the velocity reading to see what is going on here. It's quite a bit of a mess at this point. I'm going to turn the warning boxes off so we can also get a better look at where some of these spinnings might be taking place. Again, as cells smash together, where reds and greens come together is where we have our best opportunity for maybe some brief, quick spin-up tornado activity. You can see here that there are many areas along this line, any of which that are circled or even not could be capable of producing said tornadic activity as we roll into the next 45 minutes here through 5 p.m. So again, that's what we're paying the closest attention to. Now, there's nothing screaming at me right now in these velocities that is saying that there is in fact a tornado on the ground, but these are situations where brief and quick touchdowns could occur, getting down to the ground and coming back up within the matter of minutes, possibly even between our scans that go every couple of minutes here to give us these updated images. So again, I'll turn these warnings back on so you can see the boxes. They're going to be flashing. I'm going to try to get rid of the lightning so we can continue to monitor this too. All across, even far portions of Scott County are in on this tornado warning as well, but you are not, if you are in Georgetown, you are not currently under a warning at this time. If your phone is beeping or the sirens are going off, not in Georgetown, but in Cynthiana, Paris, and Carlisle, you need to be down into your safe space. And again, there are multiple areas within this that are going to be potentially causing some touchdowns here this afternoon. As we continue to monitor this situation, there is going to be the opportunity for some of that tornadic activity to come through. Again, they're moving to the south and east at roughly 50 miles an hour. Very difficult to get a tracker on this at this point because of just, again, how messy radar is. Here's what it looks like from the Louisville radar site. As you can see here, it looks like we're sort of recycling our line a little bit. I'm going to put it into play mode so that you can see what it's looked like over the past 30 to 45 minutes and how it's sort of fallen apart a bit. These storms have come in at a very fast pace out of southern Ohio and into northern Kentucky, and notice how the line has sort of started to squiggle out a bit, you could call it. It's starting to break up into pieces. We're getting this new development out in front, and so we're going to not only need to watch how these storms all merge together, but also some of the new development that's taking place in southern Scott County. Look at this now, Georgetown, just in the last scan, we've got a storm that is going to be heading your direction. Frankfort also with an opportunity for a couple of isolated cells. cells. So it's not just the areas that are warned at this point, but we're expecting the rest of this to sort of come back together. Again, the issue here for us tonight is all of these cells running into each other. As they do, that could cause the quick, brief spinning opportunity for us as we move forward. So if you are in anywhere in Harrison County, northern portions of Bourbon County, including Paris, western portions of Harrison County, Nicholas County, including Carlisle, you need to get down into your safe space. I'll even tell you right now, people out in Flemingsburg and the rest of Nicholas County, Fleming County, probably a good idea to go ahead and just get your game plan together and be ready, because this line of storms still continues to move this direction, and we are anticipating the opportunity for 60 to 70 mile an hour winds as this comes through. I'm just browsing our weather chats now to see if there's any kind of damage reports or updates for us as this all sort of comes together here tonight. As we watch these storms closely, I'll flip it back over to some velocity readings as well, and maybe we can get a better idea of where some of this spinning is as it moves in. As I flip over to this is now from the Wilmington site that's in southern Ohio, shooting down into the storm with that. Again, I'm going to turn the boxes off because it helps us see just a little bit better. Here's an area just north of Barry, Kentucky, where there could potentially be a brief spin up taking place as we speak, where those greens and reds come together. I'll zoom in a little bit closer so that you can see. Again, very messy on radar overall, but that is one location we need to keep a close eye on. If you're in Barry, you definitely need to be down in your safe space. Look at that scan that just came in, and it looks like, again, south now, there could be a quick spin up. Near Barry, there could be another quick spin up as we watch these cells run together. We go a little further to the north, and you can see south of Brooksville. Something like that is what we need to watch as this takes place here for the opportunity of a quick, brief spin up tornado. And again, we've got tornado warnings all over the place now, including in Robertson County. A new tornado warning has been issued till 4:45, likely for that area I just highlighted right there. That was near, again, Brooksville here this evening. So all along this, there's going to be many instances where we could get that brief touchdown. Very difficult to pinpoint one exact location. That's why these blanket warnings are coming out as well for us this afternoon. As these storms merge together, we'll be watching again for the straight line effect to take place. But for now, we got to just keep a very close eye on where those spin ups could be taking place. Again, far northern portions of Harrison County, you're kind of the best spot for this to take place right now, really surrounding Barry. There might be a couple different spots of rotation that we need to keep a close eye on here. Again, going to turn the boxes off so we can get a better look at this and see. Right along that northeastern Harrison County line, moving towards Robertson County, a little rotation there. South and west of Barry, a little bit of rotation possible in that location as well. Really all along this line, there's going to be that potential for some rotation to take place. And again, reflectivity is not being friendly to us here in terms of showing where those possible spin-ups could be. We've got a lot of red and orange and pinks and purples even on the map. That's the very heavy rainfall threat that we're also going to be monitoring as the night goes on. This initial wave of potential severe weather is going to be a precursor to what is going to likely be some very heavy rainfall. So I know that we've got lots of warnings on the map. We're going to hang out with these until either this is resolved or until this line forms and continues to move to the southeast. Again, it could be a bit of a lengthy afternoon for us here in terms of weather coverage, as I just continue to kind of monitor the situation and see if there's any damage reports coming up out of this. Get you another speed check. We're going to actually try to put maybe a little cursor on this to see the timing of the line as it continues to work to the south and east, and we're going to monitor for any other new warnings that could possibly be coming out here for us this evening. Harrison County did just, in fact, in their Mesonet site, observe a 60-mile-an-hour wind. So despite the opportunity for spin-up tornadic activity or not here this afternoon, 60-plus-mile-an-hour winds are, in fact, severe level. And so with that, as it moves into right now, moving into Cynthiana, you need to be down in your safe space. 60-mile-an-hour winds could easily knock down some tree limbs or even knock over a couple of trees, put that on a house, or knock down some power lines, and then we start to have the mess that we could see. So this is a situation to not take lightly here. I know the boxes and I know the radar is very messy, but we're going to continue to monitor this. Entire line has that capability. Let's go ahead and try to put a tracker on this as we move the rest of this evening. And again, it's pretty difficult to really pinpoint, but I'm going to go just inside Cynthiana here and draw this out towards the edge of our box. and then try to drag that out for us. I'm going to use the mouse because that might be a little bit more helpful. This is 50-mile-an-hour winds, 50-mile-an-hour speed to the south and east. This is when we expect it to be in these places over the course of the next couple of minutes here. Let me go ahead and get some slightly bigger communities on the map so we can see where it goes. Here you go. Now I'm going to zoom in as well so you can get an idea. Likely orange will be coming out. National Weather Service in Jackson has already stated that they're prompting those opportunities for us. So again, if you're in Flemingsburg, I would say even if you're all the way out there in Owingsville, Mount Sterling, Winchester, within the next hour, these storms are likely to be knocking on the door and bringing the same threats of wind, maybe some very small hail, but otherwise the chance for some spin-up tornadic activity heading your way. And we're talking about Mount Sterling by 5:04. That's in the next 30 minutes. Carlisle, it says 4:45. So you're on the ticket here very soon as these storms continue to move in. And again, they'll likely carry these as tornado warnings just due to the nature of these storms all colliding together and just the sporadic rotation possible here for us this afternoon and into this evening, which will lead to more of the same as we move forward. I actually got a picture from our chief engineer here from his parents up in Campbell as that storm came through. I'm going to try to get that up on the screen for you here shortly as I continue to track these storms. But it has been already a busy afternoon for us. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts recorded in Harrison County already, and then we've got again more up in far northern Kentucky with some 56-mile-an-hour gusts. So these storms producing that opportunity as we go through. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go through some of the forecast details as we continue to monitor that. Right now we've got an extension to our severe thunderstorm watch. It now includes the rest of eastern Kentucky here tonight through 8 p.m. Wouldn't be surprised if Madison County gets added into this. Again, this line of storms is kind of towing between I-75 and kind of pointing more towards the east. As we've been saying so far this week, that has been the best location to potentially see some of these stronger to severe storms this afternoon. I-75 and eastward under the gun for that. Wind is going to be our biggest threat. The tornado activity already ongoing for us here, and then the flooding comes in the aftermath. Let's go back and just take a look at the radar here and see if there's any hot spots for us that we need to closely watch with the potential of some rotation here tonight, and take a look at the latest scan. There's already a couple of the new severe thunderstorm warnings rolling out as well, so we'll have something to monitor there. Okay, I'm starting to see something that looks a little bit more defined here moving into northern Harrison County now, and this is going to be our area of utmost concern moving forward. I'm going to circle it right now. You can see here where reds and greens are coming together. This right now is just to the north and west of Cynthiana, south of Berry. I'm going to get a little closer so we can potentially see what road this is coming out of Cynthiana, moving towards Breckenridge. Right now, there's a good little indication of rotation there. You see in that latest scan, it's already sort of moved. It would be kind of in this area here now. Again, kind of elongated, some greens and reds coming together. But this is not a very well-defined couplet. And so with that, wouldn't suggest that there is definitely tornadic activity happening, but couldn't rule out. Again, it's all about the quick, brief spin-up opportunity, again, as these storms sort of run together and run into each other here tonight. So if you're south of Breckenridge, you need to be in your safe space. Cynthiana, I would say go ahead and get there right now. If you haven't already gone there, this is the best area of rotation that I'm seeing in Harrison County here this afternoon, and that's where the best opportunity for possible tornadic activity would be happening as we speak. I'm going to zoom it out again so we can see a couple of these other locations that may be dealing with some of that as well, and I want to touch on some of these other severe thunderstorm warnings that have since come out. Again, we've got new cells popping out ahead of this line, which is also indication of potential severe weather and storms running into each other. The gist of everything is that 60, 70-mile-an-hour winds in straight line fashion are going to be possible with this line of storms as it works in, and we've got those rotations coming in as well. Right now, the storm warning for portions of Bath County, 5 p.m., Rowan County until 5 p.m. as well, including Moorhead, northern portions of Memphis and Morgan County this evening for severe thunderstorm warning capable of producing 60-mile-an-hour winds, 70-mile-an-hour winds and tornado possible activity in that zone right now. I want to go ahead and see if I can't take a look at the velocity of this. Okay, now we're coming out of the Jackson side, so severe thunderstorms and the potential for some significant winds to go along with this as well. Salt Lick to Lakeview Heights and up towards Moorhead, this box is for you. Right now, velocity is not showing anything that would recommend that we have possible tornadic activity, but the quick start of this storm will likely help produce that opportunity here over the course of the next few minutes. And so again, till 5 p.m. if you are in Rowan County, portions of Bath County, Menifee, northern Menifee, north of Frenchburg, and then north and western portions of Morgan County, including Moorhead, including Lakeview Heights, including Salt Lick, you need to get down into your safe space. Again, a severe thunderstorm warning for 70-mile-an-hour straight line winds and the potential for some tornadic activity will also be possible. We've got the same story up here if you look to the north as we roll through it. Let me double check this piece here just to see what's going on there. This is this piece here for Fleming County, all of Fleming County till 5:15. The rest of Bath County, including north of Owings, northern parts of Montgomery County till 5:15 p.m. There is the 70-mile-an-hour wind tag and tornado possible there as well, likely leading out ahead of this line that you see to the north and west. As we look at this line that is already tornado warned here across portions of now it's slowly moving towards Bourbon County and into Nicholas County. You can see a couple other spots on this that are areas of concern. And while this is just moving into Robertson County right now, I'm circling it on the map here. Mount Olivet, you are going to see the opportunity for 70-plus mile winds in the next couple of minutes. If you're not already down, you need to be up towards Maysville and Manchester area. There is some significant signatures on radar indicating some very strong wind gusts moving your direction here tonight. This is all preemptive and out ahead of this potential line for the opportunity of this damaging wind threat. And that's what we will continue to monitor for us here this evening. As we sit and go through these, there's been a couple more updates that have come across the wire now for us, so we will get those in for you. The rest of Bourbon County has now been included in a severe thunderstorm warning until 5:15. All of Nicholas County now being highlighted as this, as well as these storms, as you look here, are starting to merge back together. So as they continue to progress, all of them running into each other was causing some brief spin-up potential. Now we're looking at the big straight line wind potential for us here the rest of tonight as we go through this. Let's go and take a look right outside of Paris. I think I already pointed the camera that direction, but let's see if we can't pull that up and what it looks like out there right now. Ominous sky definitely off to the north. As we take a peek here, nothing suggesting any great wall cloud activity or any kind of really strong frontal edge to this storm. That's likely due to everything sort of running into each other here this evening. Let's go ahead and see if I can I'm going to try to shift the camera a little bit left and right just to see if we get maybe a better look at what is potentially coming our way. Certainly some lightning off in the distance there. It hasn't reached Paris yet, but it is heading this direction. And so we're going to check back in on this camera a few times here as that storm gets a little bit closer. I just want to continue to pan kind of left and right and see where we're getting maybe some of the best structure. Now that off in the distance there looks like a wall of rain that you see, kind of this difference here in this area. You might be able to see my mouse go back and forth. This looks like a huge wall of rain to me. That might be a very strong rain shaft coming down. Torrential for sure. Notice how it's a different color than the background. That could likely be what's going on in this case here as this storm works our direction. So we're going to push it back to the right of that a little bit, see if we can't get maybe a bit more of the leading edge of this storm. Let's pop back out to radar and just see what that looks like for us here as we get into the rest of the coverage of this tonight. I'm going to zoom in on the hotspot because, again, we still have that tornado warning for portions of Bourbon County for the next 20 minutes. The leading edge is likely what we were just looking at. Let me see if I can't clear that part. What we were watching there on the camera, if I am correct, we're probably seeing the rain from that portion of the storm there. And so as we watch sort of where these notches may come in, maybe an area of concern or rotation could be popping up here, maybe on this side of that storm as well into portions of Nicholas County there. And so those are areas where we might see some rotation. Let's take a look at storm relative and see, okay, well, one of the two certainly looks like it could be. Let's get down in on this a little bit more and see if we can get a better reading of this. Flip it over to velocity. Okay, right here, just to the south and to the east of Cynthiana, as you're going from Cynthiana to Carlisle, there's a bit of what would be likely some very weak rotation in a broad sense. There's really not a big couplet there by any means, but certainly that could be an area of possible rotation, possible quick, brief spin-up tornadic activity. Right in Cynthiana, likely experiencing maybe some straight line wind threat there. There is a small little red and green hitting each other, but ultimately that is likely just some straight line winds trying to come up out of that storm. 60 to 70 miles an hour are going to be possible, and again, that is dangerous for us. You should already be in your safe space. I think I've mentioned that once or twice here already for you tonight. Out ahead of this area, you've got just a few more minutes before this storm comes in, and so you need to get down into your safe space. Carlisle, same story for you. Flemingsburg, also an opportunity for that severe weather to be knocking on the door here for us tonight, and so you need to be down into your safe space as well. I'm going to take a peek here and see what other kind of updates are coming in from the National Weather Service, possibly see if there is any kind of danger reports coming in. We are watching to see there's some 50-mile-an-hour winds. Outflow winds some 40, 50 miles in Owen County. Okay, 60-mile-an-hour winds for Fayette County. Severe thunderstorm warning coming for nickel-sized hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds for Fayette County. So that's for the storm in northern Fayette County right now near Lexington. And really, all of these isolated instances for activity out ahead of this main line are likely to come in with the opportunity for some severe weather as well. So expansive coverage coming your way here from the Fox 56 Weather Authority team. Peyton Hinkle has just walked into the studio, and he's getting ready to help issue some of these and talk about some of these warnings as well. So we've got team coverage of the severe threat for the rest of tonight and this afternoon coming your way here this evening. Right now, the Bourbon, so this storm that's in northern Fayette County includes portions of Scott County, also for the other portions of Bourbon County. A lot of overlapping boxes here. We've got right now the best part of 3 National Weather Service offices working in this storm's current vicinity, so we're likely to have some of that overlapping places. But just north of Lexington there in northern Fayette County, 60-mile-an-hour winds and nickel-sized hail with that storm. It's north of Lexington right now, so we're not going to see that in downtown just yet, but that opportunity will continue. This storm is moving to the southeast at 30 miles an hour. Okay, I want to talk to you guys about something here for a minute on how this works for us moving forward, because when we have little cells out ahead of the line like this and they're working the same direction as the cells we currently have, when we get them to jam into each other, when they hit each other, that could cause quick spin-ups that might not even be noticeable on radar or velocity as they combine. What that could mean is a very quick, brief tornado in an instance where maybe no warning is going to be issued. So we need to be on top of our game here, safe space, and be prepared for that. I want to get back down into Paris here and Carlisle. The leading edge of this storm is starting to make its way in. Let me quick reset just to make sure I'm not missing anything to the south. Okay, all looks good there. We're going to get back on this storm that's in Paris and heading into Paris right now, kind of moving along 68. Millersburg, it's in the neighborhood as we speak. And the strength of the storm continues to bring that potential for 70-mile-an-hour winds and some very torrential rainfall. Now, there's a couple of areas of rotation showing up on here that we should definitely keep an eye on, and it's really all along this notch. Let me back out just a little bit, because we've got from Paris all the way to Flemingsburg with this opportunity here this afternoon. I'm going to briefly remove the boxes so we can see. Okay, all of this area right here in northern parts of Nicholas County, another area of rotation there. We've got more moving into the notch of Fleming County there as well. All of these highlighted zones that I've circled right now could have the potential of some brief rotation and possibly that threat of a spin-up tornado. The strongest winds with this likely right on the leading edge. And actually, if we look even further to the east, there might be a little bit going on here. Okay, straight line wind event with notchy tornadic activity potential. All of these circled locations could have the potential of a brief spin-up tornado. Not super well defined, makes it very difficult to really pinpoint on the map, and that's why blanket warnings are coming out for this as we continue through this evening. So let's go closer to each one of these little areas of rotation. I'll put this back on so you can see. Again, Millersburg along 68, there's an area that could possibly have some tornadic activity. I'm going to circle it again. It's right here, just north of 68, just to the northwest of Carlisle. We're talking about some areas. I'll even get closer here. Headquarters in Barterville are showing up here on our map. Those are the two areas with some roadways from Barterville Road all the way over to even Walnut Grove Road, north of Maysville Road. That's 68 there. That area right now needs to be in their safe space. Possible tornadic activity taking place in that zone as we speak, okay? That is moving again. All of these storms really kind of moving to the south and east. They were going at a clip of about 50 miles an hour. I think that we also have that update continuing for us as we move through. Haven't seen any new additional speed. Looks like they're slowing down a little bit, maybe down to 35 miles an hour. So if you're north of Carlisle, you need to get down into your safe space. If you're in Carlisle, you need to get into your safe space. That potential spin up right there could be taking place. Just to the north and west of Ewing, right now as it continues to move, there's another little area of rotation south of Fairview. That would be in this zone right here. I'll circle it on your screen. This is 68 going northeast into Fairview, just to the south of that. And let me see if I can get this road here as well. Ewing Road, down through Ewing and towards places in Flemingsburg there. There's another little weak area of potential rotation that we need to keep an eye on. Pushing further to the east, just all along this line here, everybody needs to be prepared for the potential of 60 to 70 mile an hour winds. So Flemingsburg, folks, now is a good time to get down and into the safe space. Okay, back over towards Paris here now this evening. I believe that Peyton Hinkle is back in and he is mic'd up and ready to go as well. So I'm going to let him kind of get in on that Paris storm and see what's going on. I'm going to try to get you a picture that was sent in a little bit ago from these storms when they were in northern Kentucky.
Yeah, that's right, Justin. If we could, in the control room, switch over to the other weather computer, please, and I can try to outline some things here. Just want to mention, these storms have capability of already doing damage out there. We have about 47,000 customers without power across northern Kentucky. The majority of those being in Kenton County with 17,000 customers out. We have a pretty good amount of people out of power as well in Campbell County, over 11,000 customers. So these are the same storms that are now dropping to the south, as Justin has been talking about. He mentioned that storm over near Paris and in portions of Bourbon County. So I'm going to drop south there. That is under tornado warning at this point. I'm going to go ahead and switch things over here so we can look at some of the velocity and rotation. I'm trying to look at our different radar sites to see where we get the best picture. And you can see if there's any rotate, well, there's actually a couple areas that could technically be a little bit of rotation with this. I'm going to go ahead and circle them and draw them on the map for you. This one just to the west of Millersburg. We got a little couplet here also near Ewalt Crossroads, pardon me if I mispronounced that, and so in that area as well. And then also another one, you can see where the reds and greens are coming together, and that's why they keep issuing these tornado warnings kind of along this line. And actually this one looks a little more significant with the latest scan by the Ewalt Crossroads area working towards Brentsville and just to the west of Currentsville. So if you're in Bourbon County and those communities sound familiar to you, you need to be in your safe spot. You can see that there. I just drew it on the map. And then another one up near Millersburg with the latest scan there. So again, tornado warning continues to be in effect for these areas. That tornado warning goes until 5 o'clock for portions of Bourbon County. If you're in Cynthiana, still dealing with some gusty winds, heavy rainfall, but that tornado threat has pretty much passed you at this point. And the strongest winds are really along the front of this. And that's why we have these severe thunderstorm warnings out well in advance of this as well. Notice we now have those severe thunderstorm warnings until 5:15 for places like Fleming, Bath, northern Montgomery County. So the storm will be coming your way in the next little bit, and also severe thunderstorm warning continuing inside of where that tornado warning is for portions of Bourbon County. So we do have some video and pictures coming in. I'm seeing it light up on my phone, so we're going to continue to try to get that in. We also have a pretty nasty storm out just to the south of Moorhead and portions of Rowan County right now, just south of Lakeview Heights. Severe thunderstorm warning for that. And this is out ahead of that main line. You can see we're starting to get some storms fire up out ahead of it near Sandy Hook, even out towards West Liberty as well, even though that one isn't warned at this point. But the main line bringing some gusty winds. We do have confirmation of winds of, or wind gusts of 60 miles per hour up at the Mesonet site in Harrison County. And that's about what we saw when it was in northern Kentucky as well. CVG, Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky. International Airport, which is up in Boone County, recorded a wind gust of, I believe, 59 or 60 miles per hour as well. So we're going to continue to see that as this continues to drop to the south here. And notice pretty much this whole line is warned. Even this storm that's in northern Fayette County, we haven't really talked about it, that it's kind of not right along with the main line there, but we have a severe thunderstorm warning for northern Fayette County as well right now for this cell right here that I'm showing you on the map. Okay, let's reset really quickly. I do want to turn the lightning on just so you can see how intense this storm is, especially if you're out in Bourbon County, Nicholas County, back over into Harrison County as well. You see all that lightning on the screen, and I'm sure you're seeing it and hearing the thunder at home as well. So that can kind of show us sometimes how intense a storm is as well when we turn on the lightning and we can see how the storms are faring as far as intensity goes. Again, the main threat with this is going to be the threat, I think, mainly for straight line winds, but they continue to issue some of these tornado warnings because out ahead of it, we're getting those couplets where there's a little bit of rotation along with it. Again, it hasn't been anything super significant, at least at this point that I've seen. Let me go back over to the velocity on this one. And with the latest scan, even that couplet just north of Paris isn't as impressive. And there's still a little bit of one close to Millersburg, but it's not as impressive as it was either. Actually, there's one now just outside of the warning box, just to the northeast of Carlisle there, that is not included in the tornado warning box. But even with the latest scan there, it looks like right over Carlisle, you can see maybe a little bit of one. Regardless, there's very intense winds with this. I want to just try to see if we can get some radar estimates. This is in Nicholas County. It's saying up in the 40s, 48 mile per hour range, over into Fleming County, 50s. So again, some of this is just radar indicated. Obviously, this isn't, we haven't seen any ground truth necessarily to this, at least across these areas just yet. But we did see severe wind gusts across northern Kentucky and again in Cynthiana as well. So we'll continue to monitor that. Looks like another little couplet of maybe some rotation right on the Bourbon-Nicholas County line. And so looking at that one right now. Again, Justin, don't want to get your thoughts on this, but so far they kind of couple up together and then it pretty much falls apart once we get a more of an updated scan.
Yeah, and what we've seen here as this has evolved over the course of the last couple hours is we had a strong line of straight line winds moving into northern Kentucky, and then we got all what we would call this discrete convection out in front of it. That's individual little cells and thunderstorms that have begun to sprout out ahead of the main line. We're getting some of that again in Jessamine County right now. You can see it back into Woodford and Lawrence County here in Lawrenceburg area this evening. We've got a couple in Boyle and Garrett County. And so what happens is you get these little bubble ups out in front of the line, and then as they run into the line and merge together, they're causing these little notches and spin ups to potentially take place. And so while the main threats for us the rest of tonight are certainly the straight line wind event that has continued to actually strengthen here for us, as you look at the grand scheme of radar tonight or this afternoon, definitely a straight line wind mechanic to it, but you notice all these little notches that could be coming in for us. Even on reflectivity is where our concerns for some spin-ups could take place. And you're seeing that right now. It's starting to walk into Paris as well as Carlisle. I'm going to do one more check quickly of rotation and the velocity reading, put the warning back on. Again, Carlisle, best area right now of potential maybe spin-up activity taking place. Not saying that there is tornado happening at this time. That is the location on radar indicated with the best rotation at this point. But anywhere along this line, this could be taking place. I want to touch on our friends in Flemingsburg as well as we continue to roll through it. They also have some strong winds coming in. You got an update on a wind speed?
The Mesonet site in Nicholas County recorded an 81 mile per hour wind gust.
81 miles an hour. That is significant wind gusts here for us this afternoon. Tornadic or not, straight line wind likely here in this case. Anywhere along this line, that's going to be possible. That's why this is an imminent threat for us this evening. And when we have 80-mile-an-hour winds in a straight line fashion, now you're starting to talk about the potential for maybe a bit more widespread wind threat for us this evening, because anywhere along this line that could be happening. Right now over in Flemingsburg, there's the potential for that too. Again, let's just reset, go through all of these warnings. We're going to talk about this, and we're going to have to hold this for a while here as we go through it, because when we have straight line winds up 80 miles an hour, now you're talking about that's like a very small or low end tornado producing significant significant wind gusts. The strongest of winds for us currently run all the way from Vanceburg, that's up in Lewis County, just outside of Fox 56's viewing area, but down through central Fleming County. Right now, like they are past the frontal winds and are likely getting the torrential rain. Anywhere over the through Paris, through Carlisle, back down even into portions of Fayette County, Lexington. That is our threat. Some severe winds upwards of 80+ miles an hour tonight. Again, a robust storm out near south of Moorhead. This will need to watch as this storm comes in. If they collide, could get some spinning to take place as well and some very damaging winds. And so as we watch tonight, they just issued a new severe thunderstorm warning. This is very important with a active tag on it. That means that observed 80-mile-an-hour winds. This is now a life-threatening situation, and it will continue to be that threat for us as we work into the next several hours. So if you are in Bath County, the rest of Fleming County, we're talking about northern Rowan County and Montgomery County, Mount Sterling to Owingsville, and then down all the way through some of the smaller communities out here in southern portions of Fleming County. We need to go ahead, Hillsborough area, Grange City, Strong, Plumbers Landing, Plumbers Mill, all of those, Waltz up in far northern Rowan County, all the way down through Owingsville and north of Mount Sterling. This is now a destructive severe thunderstorm warning. Some of the strongest verbiage that the National Weather Service can use to let you know that 80+ mile winds are headed your way. That's life-threatening. We need to get into our safe space as we speak. With that, let's throw a tracker on this. I'll get an updated speed for you, and we're going to take a look outside at Paris too to see what this storm has been doing. Let me check and see what the speed of this storm is now. Again, this also includes Bourbon County. They have upgraded Paris and Carlisle into destructive category for mesonet gusting up to 81 miles an hour there. So 80-mile-an-hour winds. This is a rather particularly dangerous situation overall. 80-mile-an-hour winds moving to the southeast at 50 miles an hour. Let's go ahead and tracker on that. And I think we're going to get a look outside of Paris tonight just to see how that is going. Here's the line. As we move at 50 miles an hour to the southeast, we're likely going to quickly see some new warnings get it added to this. But here it goes as it walks through towns for us here tonight. We're talking about North Middletown in the next 4 minutes. Mount Sterling, 512. Moorhead, 516. You already have a severe thunderstorm overhead right now as well. With that storm likely getting absorbed by what's coming your way, this is going to be in your neighborhood very shortly. It's already in Paris as we speak. Lakeview Heights by 518, Frenchburg by 532. That's in way out there too, but if it's moving at this clip, it will likely be in locations in a pretty quick way. Let's get a look outside at Paris quickly to see what it looks like as this live destructive thunderstorm warning is coming through. Okay, clearly some torrential rainfall coming through. Peyton, you've got an update?
Justin, I just want to say, like, obviously we want to size. I know a lot of times, sometimes people don't take severe thunderstorm warnings as seriously as a severe thunderstorm warning, but when we have a destructive severe thunderstorm warning like this, with winds gusting over 80 miles per hour, that can do damage, if not more, than some tornado. I think it's important to emphasize that we're already starting to see power outages come in from those counties. Harrison County reporting over 1,600 customers without power. So it's about 15% of the county is now without power. And again, this is probably taking a little bit to update as well. So people need to be in their safe spot, just like they would do for a tornado warning. You need to treat this seriously and get to your safe spot.
And let's talk about this too. If now is a great time to pull us up on Facebook or on X, or you can pull up our website on your phone. Take us with you. We're going to be going and staying with the coverage all the way through the entirety of this event. You can get with us. We also have an app if you haven't downloaded it yet. If while you're getting safe space or once you get there, you can pull that up. We will be on there. Let's talk about where we go in these situations. We want to be in the lowest level of our interior room with as many walls between us and the outside as possible. We want to avoid all windows as well as we do this, and so you need to be in there. If you don't have if you're a one-story home, get to the most interior room like you see on the right side of your screen. Bathrooms are usually the most interior. I know that's the place in my house. Go ahead and get in there, grab some pillows. You have any kind of helmets lying around, or you can take those with you as well. Just bring that in there, bring us with you, and we'll continue to monitor the situation as these storms roll through town. And again, like Peyton was saying, when you have 80-mile-an-hour winds coming at you on a long line, that is possibly more destructive than anything that you with an ice of a tornado threat. Peyton, do you have any new updates over there?
Yeah, just to continue what the Weather Service was emphasizing. The same thing with this is what we've been saying is people need to treat this seriously. Get to the lowest level of your home, most interior room of your home as well. Actually, I just came directly in studio from a shoot. Was out at a football field and it started to thunder in the distance and folks were moving inside. If you have sporting events going on, I know a lot of schools kind of prepping for football season, soccer seasons like that. This coming your way. So even under just yet, and you're in some of these areas just to the south and to the south and east, you want to go ahead and get into your safe spot as soon as you can, because this is a very dangerous situation. Again, in Nicholas County, we had that Mesonet site, winds of 81 miles per hour, a gust of 81 miles per hour. That's enough to do some damage to home, to cars. Free is definitely possible, and that's why they issued this destructive severe thunderstorm that includes Fleming County, portions of Nicholas and Urban County, and now is pushing to the south. And looks like, Justin, we have a new tornado warning as well.
Yes, we do. Let's get right in on that, because inside of this, I was actually just taking a peek at this. All along this line, again, is the opportunity for the straight line winds. But now we also have a rotation spot. We were highlighting it just a moment ago. There was an area where there was some rotation taking place. Now, as we look at this, there is a couplet on here that you can see. It is down between East Union in far southern portions of Nicholas County there and Little Rock, which is actually in Bourbon County, just to the north of Plum, which is on the edge of Bourbon County and portions of Montgomery County there. This is a tornado warning for this location right here where we see the opportunity of some spinning taking place. I've highlighted it there. Of course, the next scan comes in and it seemed to take it away for us. Let's see if we can get that. Might have been one of those instances where we had a very brief spin up potential come through within one scan, just like that. It's down, it's up, it's gone. Either way, the 60 to 70 to even 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts in a straight line fashion are still possible within this as well. This is just outside of Sharpsburg now for us tonight, too. That tornado warning now till 5. Again, the destructive tag, the thunderstorm warning until 5:15. We will likely outrun this as the storms continue to track to the southeast because they are moving in out. But again, now is the latest scan of some rotation, some relative velocity possibly showing this as well. I see multiple little areas, Sharpsburg, both to the north and to the west of it. That area that was slightly highlighted there as well is near Plum and Bunker Hill. And then I see some kind of North Middletown again here for us with this system. All along this line, we're going to get these little notches that we need to keep a close eye on as these storms race to the southeast. If you are in that tornado warning, especially, you should have already been in safe space. But now let's just get some warnings out there ahead of where these are issued. Mount Sterling, you need to be down. Moorhead, you need to be down. Oakville, now is a good time to get towards that safe space. This line of storms is not far off. We have a news warning for Clark County now until 5:45 as well. It's all a part of the same line of storms as it continues to move in. Let's see what that one was issued for here this afternoon. Right now, 60-mile-an-hour winds, it looks like. It includes parts of Madison County as well as some portions of Fayette County again. Moving southeast at 25 miles an hour. So these fringe storms that are coming through, they are not keeping pace with the main line itself. They are moving and developing ahead of it. As that happens, the opportunity to take place could allow for some to take place as well. We're seeing this line, Peyton, fill in back into Fayette County now with some more robust convection showing up there as well. So in areas that aren't even severe warned yet, we're likely seeing this line continue to form together. That's going to be all the way back here, even possibly along the Bluegrass Parkway.
And just, I was even going to say, I was looking at those too. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a warning issued for some of those as well, as they're beginning to uptick. And they're almost getting some of that convection you were talking about that we saw out ahead of the main line starting to fill in from Lexington back towards Lawrenceburg and Frankfort as well, and kind of merge with the main line here. Again, we still have storms out ahead of it as well. But I also want to say this really quick. Out in Robertson County, the entire county's out of power. So that should go to, and that's just outside of area, but it borders Harrison and Nicholas County. The entire county is out of power. So I think that should just go to show you how strong some of these storms are. when they are knocking out power to, and don't get me wrong, I know it's a rural and a small county, but that's still pretty significant. And that's that same part of the storm that went into portions of Nicholas, Nicholas and over into Fleming County. It's the same part of the storm there. So I think we're just going to continue to see these up as the night goes on. We're now seeing it looks like over 2,600 customers out in Harrison County, and numbers are starting to go up in Bourbon and Nicholas County. So that's a good indicator that we're seeing damage out in these locations.
One thing to reminder here as we roll through tonight, as these storms come in, it's certainly going to be a widespread opportunity for power outages and trees down. You need to be in your safe space. I don't know how to put it any clearer than that. I don't know what other verbiage to use. We've got new tornado warning now popping up for northeastern portion of Kentucky, including the rest of Rowan County in it till 5:30 p.m. Carter County's been included in that. Elliott County now this evening as well. It gets all the way out to portions of Morgan County, and as it continues to work to the south and east, it's all full of taking place as these storms roll through with 70 to observed already 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts with that. It's about as serious as it can really get for us here as we continue into the evening. Let's go ahead and take a peek here. I want to put some of these trackers up. As you can see, there's a bunch showing. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit a couple of these and see. What I'm looking for in a couple of these is this little area that has this BTI on it. What that is suggesting it's the Barron Tornado Index. Once we start getting that upwards of 6, a number 7, it's a scale out of 10. Once we get that up to 6, 7, 8, that's when it's been known to produce tornadic activity, where we've observed that taking place as well. Right now they're staying under 4 or 5 for us here this afternoon, and so while that's helpful, the whole line is capable of producing tornado strength winds as it continues to race east. So let's do a reset through all the warnings right now that are on the map. There's a ton of them being overlapped, and I think the majority of this situation, we will likely see a new severe thunderstorm warning be added to this main line as it comes in. Let me get the reflectivity out so we can see what's going on. We're going to go from left to right across your screen. In Fayette County for the next 9 minutes, severe thunderstorm warning, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and nickel-sized hail. Clark County till 5:45 p.m., 60 to 70-mile-an-hour winds, moving to the south and east at roughly 35 to 40 miles an hour. That is going to be a concern for us. Wester, you guys need to get down into your safe space. As we go further, Montgomery County, destructive severe thunderstorm warning taking place right now as we work over towards portions of Montgomery County and into Bath County. There's a tornado warning on top of our destructive severe thunderstorm warning until 5:30. Everybody in Owensville, safe space.
Justin, I just want to point something out for people down the line. Say you're in like the community of like Campton, Salyers, down towards Jackson, Beattyville, Boonville, Hyman. I know this seems kind of far away, but I want to search. Have you seen this on radar? This boundary here that has kind of set up. I think as we continue to see storms drop south, these are definitely not out of the woods just yet. And so that's something I want to point out to people as well, that will likely in the weather this too, we'll likely continue to see a greater severe threat across some communities. Boundary is kind of set up just to the south and east there, and that'll be something that we're watching very closely, and something where we need to pay close attention to not only damaging winds, but also if these thunderstorms are trailing over each other, even the potential for flash flooding as well. And we're starting to see that be the case back up into portions of Ohio.
Yeah, and we just talked about it too. The thunderstorm warning, the destructive tag has now been issued as well, well ahead of this line of storms. So folks, that this is going to be slowing down anytime soon either as it works to the south and east. Everybody, and we're going to go through all the counties again so that you can hear your county called because you need to be down into the safe space as we speak. All the way now through Estill County, Northern Wolf, Morgan County, and portions even of Johnson County. Destructive severe thunderstorm warning has been placed out well ahead of this line because it's moving miles an hour to the south and to the east. It's already been producing 80-mile-an-hour winds, and all along this line there's the potential for some tornadic activity to develop in the notches as we walk through it. So again, we're going to get a closer look. Our severe threat grows this afternoon. Montgomery, Bath, Rowan County, which is outside of our area, Elliott County, Morgan County, all of Menifee, Powell County, Estill County, Northern Wolf, from Campton to West Liberty to Sandy Hook, Stanton, Frenchburg, Owingsville, Moorhead. Everybody, you are about to get a line of +mile-an-hour winds, along with the potential for some tornadic activity. We've got boxes again all over the place. I'm going to get a tracker on this here for us so we can get a good lead time on exactly when these storms are likely to arrive. The line of this storm right now is just crossing 64. If that's any indication of where it is in comparison to where you are, now is the time to get down. Here's where and when these storms are likely to arrive. Mount Sterling obviously knocking on the door as we speak. A little further down the line, Jeffersonville 521. We're in Frenchburg by 529. Clay City by 530. Let me see if I can get a few other areas on the map here, maybe some slightly bigger communities. West Liberty 541. Campton 550. This is your early heads-up warning that these storms are working your way. Certainly the opportunity for Moorhead to get it in a couple of minutes. They're racing to the southeast at 50+ miles an hour. Let me see if I can actually get another update on the speed that's being warned on for these storms as they go through. Severe possible, let's see here, moving to the southeast at 55 miles an hour. So they've even gained more strength as they continue to roll through and run to the south. So dangerous situation here. Can't put it any better way than that. We've got a line of severe weather with tornado warnings and destructive severe thunderstorm warnings wrapped all the way across it as we work into tonight. Counting in on this as well. Strongest of this is Mount Sterling, all the way up 64, even into portions of which is against outside of our area. And we've got all these highlighted boxes blinking in place. Have you been able to find any reports of any damage coming from farther to the north when this storm originally blew through places like, say, Maysville, Cynthiana areas?
I haven't seen anything just yet. I've been trying to look for. I also something I've been noticing. These storms stretching from Sandy Hook, northern Morgan County, back into southern Rowan County near the Grand Lake area, and then back into Menifee County, they've been intensifying over the past little bit as well. And when you're coupling this very heavy rain with the gusty winds and then the main line behind that, this is also, again, and I talked about this a little bit, to potentially be a flash flood threat in these areas that are dealing with some of this significant, really heavy rainfall here as well. So not only are we dealing with the wind threat, and that's why they put that destructive severe thunderstorm warning out for this line, but they're also dealing potentially with the setup for some flash flooding in these areas. So it's very important people are seeing and paying attention to weather alerts, and if you're streaming, again, have a way to watch us not only on your TV in case you lose power as well. Some of the latest Mesonet, we still have 81-mile-per-hour gust in Nicholas County. It looks like we hit 52 at the Mesonet site in Clark County. 60 up in Harrison County. So far only 37 in Rowan County, but the main line of the storm hasn't passed that site yet. And then in northern Kentucky, we have some reports of up to closer to 60 as well, as we talked about earlier. But definitely the winner so far has been the Mesonet site in Nicholas County. And then again, I keep emphasizing this, those power outages continue to go up. So when we start to see power going out for a lot of folks, that's indicative that we're seeing damage across these areas. Again, the entire county there in Robertson County is pretty much out of power at this point. Harrison County, just shy of 3,000 customers without power. We're almost to 2,000 customers without power in Bourbon, and looks like just under 1,000 there in Nicholas County. So again, continue to see that go up as the night goes on, obviously, as this continues to work to the south. And this is going anywhere anytime soon, and that's why the Weather Service has issued these warnings out well in advance. For example, if you're down in Stanton, Campton, West Liberty, it's raining there, but the main line of storms is still pretty far away from you. And then down towards Salyer'sville, Beattyville, Jackson, notice how they've put that warning out well in advance, because we know this is likely going to keep its intensity over the next little bit as it continues to dive down to the south here. I really quickly want to just sample some radar indicated winds here with this, because compared to what we were seeing a little bit earlier, now that they're getting closer to the radar site there in Jackson, we're getting a better view into the storm. And so you still have the mountains and things to deal with a little bit. Kind of takes that ability away, especially in parts of eastern Kentucky there. But I want to show you Look at that. Radar indicated 78-mile-per-hour winds. Radar indicated 74-mile-per-hour winds. That's just in northern Rowan County. So I'll be curious to see what the Mesonet site there in Rowan County, just outside of Moorhead, experiences once this passes through. Several 74, 71. I mean, that's pretty significant when we're seeing these wind gusts over 70 miles per hour possibly, and even up 80 miles per hour. Again, so don't have winds near that. And so that's why it's important. Straight line winds can do just as much damage, can cause just as much harm. And that's why it's important you take this seriously as if you would a tornado warning and get down in your safe spot. The good news is where we are seeing those tornado warnings, Justin, I'm not seeing really too much rotation with this. I turned on the rotation detector here. We have some working into portions of Carter County just outside of our viewing area and some weak rotation in a clip. There's no main couplets that would show up at least on the radar imagery, and which is some good news right now. But that can't be one spin up very quickly. Right. But I still, and I've been kind of trying to emphasize this, the straight line wind threat is very real and very significant. And then now, as we kind of talked about just moments ago, that new warning just came out now, including Jessamine, Madison, and a large portion of Fayette County for that other storm. That goes until 6 o'clock. Seen an uptick in intensity with that as well. And I just want to turn on the lightning. We've had it turned off because you can't really see anything. But this just kind of gauges how electric these storms are and kind of shows us some of the intensity. And what we've been noticing last little bit is some of the continuing to intensify is, and this is likely probably because of maybe some of these storms out there. They're not looking as intense now as they once were in some of the other parts once you head a little further to the east. Justin, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I think what we're seeing here, if we flip over, you'll be able to notice. I do want to through these warnings with you one more time in just a moment, but what we're seeing here is we're kind of getting two areas where those storms that were initially out ahead of this line that's moving through Moorhead right now, they're starting to kind of take over a little bit of the energy in the atmosphere, and so we're getting a set. These storms that are from just north of Frenchburg and moving to the south and east north of West Liberty, they're trying to steal some of the storm energy that Moorhead is seeing right now. Now, there's still significant wind gusts along the leading edge, and that's where we're having the strongest potential for severe weather along these winds right now through Moorhead, going through Mount Sterling. They've already passed through Owingsville. But what we're going to get is likely some collision here, and that's why we've got all those tornado warnings in place as well. When we have that, there's likely to be some opportunity for spinning as well as maybe a takeover with these storms to shoot further to the southeast and quickly again causing more widespread straight line wind threat for the rest of this evening. Let's go through and these storms off and talk about where these warnings are at now. We'll get it to the radar site so we see exactly what's happening. A mess of box here. We're going to go left to right, including portions of Woodford County. You are in a severe thunderstorm warning till 6 p.m. Southern Fayette County, all of Jessamine, northern Madison, including just up to the northern side of Richmond. Clark County till 5:45. Winchester, it's knocking on the door. If you're not in your city, you need to be there right now because that storm is capable of producing 60-plus mile winds, and the whole line has been capable of doing 70-plus with some observed 80s as we've gone through. Montgomery County until 5:45 p.m., as well as Bath County. All of Rowan County is in on that as well. Those are the counties where the line of most significant winds are currently at and will continue to work in. You need to be down in the safe space. This is right along I-64 and moving to the south and east. Everybody along that line is going to be in for those 80-plus mile-an-hour wind potentials for us here as we move forward. Yes, there's a tornado warning in Bath County till 5:30. It's radar indicated rotation right now, but again, most of this is along a severe straight line wind threat with some notching taking place that could lead to brief spin-ups. You go around county, there's also a tornado warning there until 5:30, again for the same reasons. Then we start to get a little further out ahead of this storm. Morgan County, all of Morgan County right now till 5:45 p.m. Wolf County's in this, Powell County, Estill County, and then the rest of Nephi County until 5:45. Again, this is to give you a very big heads up on what is coming your direction as line of winds moves your way. Recap of where the current warnings are sitting, and again, we're going along this main line. I'm going to draw the line for you again. I'm going to remove the warning boxes, and you can see it there. Anywhere along this line, 64 from Mount Sterling up past Moorhead, moving northeastern Kentucky. That's where our most significant, widespread, severe wind threat will continue to work as we go through the rest of the evening. Moving to the southeast at 55 miles an hour was what it was last check. And again, these storms don't show any sign of weakening at this point. And so we've got all these warning boxes, the tornado warnings, and etc. It's a strong to significant severe weather event unfolding here across eastern Kentucky this evening. With that being said, these places where the warnings have since expired, I'll show you where that is as well. To give you the all clear, Cynthiana, you're out of it for now. We've got Georgetown, at least in all clear thunderstorm warning at time. Still dealing with some heavy rainfall times, frequent lightning, so I wouldn't go outside to assess anything if you think there might be damage. Paris, the town of Paris, you are outside of a severe thunderstorm warning now, but still likely seeing some heavy rain. Carlisle and Flemingsburg, you are outside if you are in those cities. You are outside of severe warnings now, but likely still seeing heavy rain. I would wait until the rest of the rain passes if you think there might be some damage. Once it is safe to do so, we would love to see some of the pictures back to this as well, and so they know areas where they might need to assess the damage. But do not do it if you are out ahead of this line of storms right now. That includes Nicholasville, Richmond, Winchester, Mount Sterling, you're in it right now. Frenchburg, West Liberty, Campton, get to the safe space. Be prepared. The National Weather Service is using some pretty strong language here saying that areas out ahead of these warnings need to be weather aware and ready to act as these storms through widespread winds are dangerous and will likely lead to some damage as they continue to move forward. That's why they have the destructive tag on. So we can't leave them where they are as we continue through tonight. As we watch for other damage, such it looks like we've got some folks reporting out of Clark County and Montgomery County, 60 to 80 mile an hour wind gusts, 113 exit of I-64. So there is certainly more observations likely to roll in for us here tonight as some more of these opportunities for damaging winds. Looks like you, Peyton, you're trying to get some, you've got some more information that you're trying to pull up for us here.
Yeah, I haven't seen too pictures again just yet. I'm looking for some stuff, but we do have a 50-mile-per-hour wind gust now reported in Rowan County. So that the storm is still moving through parts of that area, so we may get an update. 38 miles per hour in Bath County, 52 miles per hour in Cook County. So still some pretty strong wind gusts there. And again, actually, it looks like we just got an updated. Oh, hang on one second. Let's see if this updated here. No, it's 52 there in Clark County, 50 out in Rowan County. Mile-per-hour wind gusts. Still the highest that takes the cake so far is 81 miles per hour up in Nicholas County. But again, we're not seeing wind gusts over that. That's just at that specific site where we're seeing that right now. Continuing to see those power outages uptick across the area. Around 2,500 customers without power in Bourbon. We have about 743 customers without power in Nicholas County. Fleming County, about just over 1,000 without power there in Fleming County as well. Harrison County is now up to over 3,000 customers without power. So a good amount of folks losing power at this point. And I know it's just outside of our viewing area, but up in Lewis County, 61% of the county is without power with 3,556 customers. These storms are continuing to the south and east, trying to continue to gather information for you, but regardless, a lot of people probably haven't seen pictures and things yet because these storms are still right over top of people.
No, we don't want anybody in the pictures yet. We want to make sure that we're down in the safe space for sure. Let's go through this again and see what we've got coming up here for you this evening. Again, we're just tracking a significant line of potentially force tonight, producing history of 80+ mile an hour wind gusts rolling through. If you're just joining us now, especially if you're out ahead, well, when you got something else?
Yeah, real quick, this just came up, but a little bit of small hail now here in Lexington near New Circle and Harrodsburg Road. It doesn't look like anything crazy, but still a little hail out of this as well.
Well, we don't want to forget about the folks that are over here in portions of Fayette County as well. It's just that the more significant severe weather is to the north and east for us here tonight, but not to get out of the woods here. We've got in Fayette County until 6 p.m. a severe thunderstorm warning that extends down through portions of Jessamine County and northern Madison County as well. This is producing some heavy rainfall. Why don't we take a peek at just what's going on outside the station here so you can get an idea of what is coming our way. It looks like we already had some heavy rainfall come through. Now it looks like just some ominous sky out in the distance for us. And with that, we'll likely see more opportunities across southern Fayette County for some of those more aggressive rainfalls and potential winds here for us tonight. I actually can pull up from Louisville some of the velocity reading here as well. And it does look like these weak rotation in western portions of Fayette County and then down there in southern portions of Woodford County tonight. Haven't noticed much else from those. If you look over at the storm relative, what this product does is it allows for storm motion to be taken into effect. So it tries to pick up where the winds are changing direction within the storm pertaining to the direction the whole storm is moving. And so with that, not seeing a bunch of rotation with that, which is good news for us here. If we could say the same thing about some of the stuff going on further to our east, well, then we would probably be in a little bit better shape. But let's take a look at that again. The strongest of winds likely coming out here for us across portions of, again, into Bath County, Round County, Morgan, Wolf, and then far north of Estill County here tonight. We've got some tornado warnings that are going to expire in the next 5 minutes. That'll likely clean this up for us as well. We can better idea of where some of the strongest winds are, but just to put a tracker on this again, because it's important for us to know, Mount Sterling's getting some gusty. We just posted on my Facebook there bushes whipping in the wind. It looked pretty aggressive, but maybe the leading edge of the storm not all the way there yet. I would advise you to get into your safe space. I wouldn't want to stay outside just to get a video of that. It's a little too dangerous for that. But as we continue to watch this line here move to the south and east at 50 miles an hour, let's just get an update on timing when these storms could arrive and where. I got to zoom it out just to be able to get the right speed on this here. And as they continue to progress, here's a look at where and when they will line up. This is where the strongest and fastest winds are likely rolling for us here tonight, and where we're going to see the opportunity for some of the strongest dangerous winds continue for us here this evening. We've got Frenchburg now lining up at 5:29 in the next 3 minutes. So if you're not in your safe space, guys, please get down into that safe place. Over in Sandy Hook, that's going to be over the course of the next 5 minutes. Weber, you're already dealing with heavy rainfall and some likely gusty winds from a storm that developed out ahead of the main line. But the frontal boundary of this line is going to be moving through with that soon to likely take that storm and blow it out. And so with that, we'll see an uptick in winds once again. You should already be in your safe spot, but now is another time to do so. Jackson by 6:05. Now we're getting way out ahead of these storms. Salyersville, you guys in Prestonburg, Paintsville, it's getting a little on the edge of the Fox 56 viewing area, but in good idea, go ahead and have a plan, be ready, and get into your safe space as these storms approach. Again, they're moving 55 miles an hour. Let's go ahead. I want to just zoom in here. The good news I have for you overall with this is how the tornadic activity looks like it has really just turned into a straight line wind threat. The majority of our tornado warnings are likely at this point. The National Weather Service has not said anything pertaining to extending any of them. They will continue to watch for, as we will, area of rotation to line up, but for the most part, the majority of this is a significant straight line wind event. Let's talk about where we need to go for our safe space. I also want to show you the watches have been expanded as well here for us tonight across the rest of basically our viewing area through 8 p.m. So again, these storms are likely to get in and out of town here over the course of the next couple of hours. Again, they're moving 55 miles an hour, so they'll likely be through by about 7:30, but the watch has been issued in advance of that. We've been talking about this, but I want to touch on this as well. The opportunity for some flash flooding is also a concern for us. Behind this line of storms, more training thunderstorms are likely to develop and move through. So while this initial wave comes in, we might get a little bit of a break from severe weather. Then the heavy rainfall will continue to be a threat for us, not only tonight, but as we go into tomorrow. We also have a severe thunderstorm threat for tomorrow, as well as on Thursday. And so the active week will continue for us as we move forward. We do have a flood watch in place as well tonight for most of the Fox 56 viewing area. That goes through 8 a.m. on Wednesday. Again, it covers all the counties you see here in green, and that's going to be for the same threats of flash flooding potential you can see to our east. There's been more opportunities for that, but we will need to keep an eye on that as this continues to evolve for us the rest of tonight. That potential will continue to bring that threat. So while we continue to track these storms, it's going to feel a little repetitive for you, I know, but we've got to stay on spread. Wind potential is very dangerous for us here as we can roll through the rest of this evening. So we're going to reset. Let's go ahead and pull this out. Let's pull this up. Let's take a look. I want to look at the national radar one time just to see what could possibly be coming in behind it. So we've got our initial wave of severe weather rolling through. It feels like the storms have kind of hit the brakes a little bit here as they run into that line out ahead of them. And so we're kind of on a new update, a new scan to see if any new spinning takes place. But in behind that, we've got more storms kind of up in Indiana and Illinois, and they are working the same direction. And this is where our training event will likely start to begin, where the flash flooding concern will increase and why we have that outlook for flash flooding to take place as the night continues. So what I'm going to do, as long as we have these destructive tags, we're going to stay on this. We'll see what happens next half hour or so. Let me get back down into these storms. So like we were talking about a moment ago, we had this area where those significant winds were coming in, but then right here where all of these storms have come together now, they're merging together. And so what we'll likely see is a downtick in straight line wind threat, but an uptick in the potential for some rotation to develop. As that takes place, there's the opportunity for brief spin-ups to occur. Will likely grab back into a singular line and then start to race to the southeast. Got some mid-level winds kind of racing in behind them to help with that. But as they do that, then we're going to see the straight line wind threat take over again in a big way, because our upper level winds are kind of coming in this direction. And that's why we can see in our velocity, the strongest winds, you can see it right there, are going right through that portion of the storm. And so with that, as they collide together, we're going to get these little areas of rotation to try to develop. Good news on here right now is that I don't see any taking place currently. Let me go to the storm relative. Yeah, a lot of this is still straight line winds. Now, we do have a rotation indicator showing up back in Carter County. That is outside of our Fox 56 viewing area, but nonetheless, the opportunity still exists. Let's go back to reflectivity and take a look. Now we're just really getting into the torrential rainfall piece of this too. We have these little cells out ahead of it. These little guys, they're running into the storm. It's causing for a mess of reflectivity, likely pushing the winds down a little bit as well, which is why we've seen some 50-mile-an-hour reports coming out of a few of those locations here this afternoon, and hence why we'll have to continue to monitor for those into tonight. Good news, Bath and Montgomery County, the tornado warning has been allowed to expire, but you are still underneath the destructive thunderstorm warning tag for the 80-mile-an-hour wind threat tonight. So we'll need to play it safe with that one, remain in our safe space. As we look back off towards places like Nicholasville and Jessamine area, the strong storms starting to move into northern Jessamine County. That line, 60-mile-an-hour winds. The ones in these orangish boxes right here, not so much like this peach color. That's 60-mile-an-hour winds and 1-inch hail potential. Those are moving slow at around 35 miles an hour. The ones that are further to the east, this peach-colored box, are the ones that are moving 5 miles an hour and continue to dive to the south and east. Let me see what this box is about here. Magoffin County till 6 p.m., Johnson County till 6 p.m., and Morgan County, you're still under the same warning there. Let me see what this one is, till 6 p.m. So we're starting to see some splitting taking place with these thunderstorms as they come in. And it looks like, let me pull this up again too. Here are the strongest winds that we're talking about now, trying to roll into central portions of Morgan County and south of Frenchburg and Menifee County. Let's take a sample of some of these here and see what comes up. Still destructive for us. That's 72-mile-an-hour winds in the storm, 66 there along 460 south of Frenchburg, 66-mile-an-hour winds. You look at some of these lighter colors, notice how they're 40 miles an hour. Not our area of concern. We need to be careful along this edge as these very gusty winds, 70-plus miles an hour in the storm, can easily translate to the surface, and that's what leaves us with this threat here tonight. Let me look and see if there's another updates as we go through it. Take a peek at a couple of our cameras as well just to see what's going on here for us. This is a look outside of Paris. It's still heavy rainfall there, but the severe warnings have expired, so we are good for now in Paris from severe weather. But out here to the station, looks like the heavy rain has picked up again here at Chevy Chase, but no severe warning for downtown. Again, the severe warning is for southern Fayette County at this point, and just on the edge of southern New Circle Road across Lexington. So we've got that opportunity for some gusty winds and heavy rainfall, and there's a lot of lightning with this too, which would suggest that these storms are continuing to maintain themselves. Back over to the Jackson side here, a little more robust coming out of this storm. These storms are a little closer to that Jackson site, and so we'll likely see a better reading on reflectivity from that as it comes through. Let's see what this update is. Another tornado warnings coming out now for Wolf, Morgan, and Menifee counties here tonight. They just posted it, let's see, 5:34. So this will pop up in our system in just a moment. We're going to go ahead and dive in and take a look at what that might be showing here for us as we roll through. I just want to take a peek at this. Pea-sized hail also with that, but we're really more focused on the opportunity for that tornado threat. Wolf, Morgan, and Menifee. Let me go ahead and pull up our velocity and see where there might be some indications of rotation. It's likely for these portions here where we've kind of this notch showing up. They posted it on there. It still hasn't shown up in our system. Is it showing up on yours, Peyton?
What is it?
Doesn't look like it. We got a new tornado warning through portions of Wolf, Morgan, and Menifee.
It hasn't showed up. It may just be taking a second. Sometimes it does that.
Good old technology.
Technology will take a minute for it to come in because it was just issued about a minute ago. It might just take a second. But I did want to update you on this. Oh, it looks like another one for Elliott County as well, so up near Sandy Hook. I did want to update you on this. So first off, we have reporters heading out to some of these areas where we're seeing some damage. We're also getting reports now of trees down in Montgomery County near Camargo and Levy Road in Montgomery County, seeing some trees down. Our newsroom is working the phones as well. It looks like we have excuse me, sorry, we're talking and looking at things behind the scenes. We also have reports of damage. I can confirm from 911 dispatchers in Harrison and in Nicholas counties as well. They couldn't give us specifics because, as you can imagine, the phone lines are very busy in those areas right now. So yeah, I just wanted to let people know that we are getting some confirmation of some damage in those areas. I don't have specific information about what it is, so we're continuing. Our newsroom is working to get that. That's where I've been the past little bit, out working with our producers and our staff in the newsroom. They're doing a great job trying to track down some of this information. So we'll continue to monitor that. We're also going to continue to monitor for, again, possible storm damage and things as well. We have reporters headed out in the direction of Nicholas and Harrison counties at this point, and then also we'll probably we have some other folks on standby we may be sending to some of these other areas as well. So we'll continue to keep you updated on that front. Justin, did that tornado warning still not populate?
I just asked them what's going on there. They're also issuing another destructive severe thunderstorm warning that's going to extend into Breathitt and Owsley counties this evening. So they're likely going to push play on all of those at the same time to allow them to come out. Areas of concern with that for us tonight are likely where you can kind of see here, and I'm going to try to circle it for us, where we're getting some of the gaps in reflectivity, where we've got some cells running into each other. Those are areas where we're likely seeing, maybe even over here too, just some gaps in the reflectivity would suggest that there's some merging taking place. When we have that, they're also going to have that opportunity to produce those spin-ups. When we go to velocity readings, you can see here it looks pretty uniform for the most part. I'm not seeing any areas where there's what we would call a couplet, where blues or even the greens and the reds are coming together. And so for this instance, like maybe right there could be the opportunity they mentioned, but they have not pushed play on any of those yet. So either way, everybody that are in those zones are inside of the destructive severe thunderstorm warning tag right now, and so they should already be down in their safe space. And the good news for us is that we'll continue to monitor how those play out for us. I think they might have just taken a peek at that.
It looks like we also have some trees down in Fleming County, but the good news, I believe it's the sheriff there, judge executive, sorry, in Fleming, nothing major there, but they are seeing some trees down. So as expected.
Well, it's good to have some. But the good news there for us too is Fleming County, they're outside of now. And so they're in the clear for us. I would also say that Moorhead, the storm has completely moved out of around here this evening. The warning goes for another 6 minutes. I would just let that sit out because we could have some gusty winds filing out of the backside of this storm as it continues to work out of the region tonight too. So I wouldn't say all clear, but it will be just and I think you guys will be in the clear from this. It's also getting pretty messy everywhere else. I would say that if you're back in Georgetown, Paris, Carlisle, you're in the clear. This Clark County storm, still severe warned for the next 6 minutes as well, but it looks on radar anyway that has toned down a little bit. So as that continues to slowly work out of the region, anticipate that to be clearing out for us here in the next couple minutes. Still a lot of heavy rain, still a lot there. But for the most part, that storm is not the highest area of concern. Now, it's still ripping some good winds and dumping some good rain for us, and so we will need to adhere to that warning. But as we move back to the west here towards Lexington and such, the greater threat remains out in far eastern Kentucky. I do want to touch on these other storms. Can't leave our friends in the Lexington metro and northern portions of Jessamine County in the dust here for us tonight. We even have some in portions over here south of Lawrenceburg and moving into northern Mercer counties and Anderson counties. Some thunderstorm activity developing, looking a bit more robust even than what's in Fayette County right now. Mainly a heavy rainfall and small hail event going on through Fayette, Jessamine, Anderson, Woodford, and northern portions of Mercer County. Can't rule out the chance for some gusty 60-mile-an-hour winds. And with the warning box still in play, 6 p.m. is when that expires. These storms have basically hit the brakes, again, because most of the activity is what's developing and pulling up here to our east. And so we will continue to monitor that as they move through, likely seeing some. We're waiting because it looks like they're running into a couple of issues at the National Weather Service. We'll just take a peek outside. Really just heavy rain face. Some reduced visibility from that, wet roadways, not seeing any hail bounce off of anything there. There's nothing going on yet, but there's still the potential. You guys aren't completely out of the woods tonight either. There's the risk that a couple of these storms pop up near you. Going back to our friends over there in Paris, starting to see some quieter weather try to develop there as well. So if you're out browsing to see if there's any damage or anything, please be careful. Watch for more rain to push in for us later tonight. You're quiet for more storms heading into tomorrow. Let's go look at Richmond too, just to see if there's a glimpse of what could be coming in. Ooh, look at this ominous little look. We've got some low-hanging clouds. This is not a wall cloud by any means. This is not, I wouldn't call this anything severe at this point. It just looks kind of scary, but this is scud, which we call it, just a bunch of random cloud formations that are popping up underneath some ominous clouds as they're kind of moving towards the thunderstorm. There could be some inflow taking place there, trying to help feed some of the storms further to the north. But this is not of a concern for us at this point, although it does look a little scary here for us tonight. Still not seeing any of those tornado warnings that they said they were going to issue up. Still not seeing any extension of those destructive severe thunderstorm warnings pop up either. So we're just going to keep a close eye on this until they press the button, and if something is stuck, that's the way it's going to go. If I was issuing these, I would say, and we'll just go over here to the velocity scene so you can see, turn this. I'm going to draw a box, and we'll wait for the National Weather Service to kind of up here. But I would say from Campton, maybe even just outside of Campton, down through Jackson, kind of over towards Prestonburg, and then back up towards Sandy Hook, Inez, Paintsville, Salyersville, all included in this. This is the area where we're likely going to see the most significant potential for those 80-plus-mile-an-hour winds. And as long as we have the destructive tag on there, we're going to hold this as it works into southeastern Kentucky. Again, they mentioned that Breathitt and Owsley counties will be included in that here tonight. That would include getting that box a little further to the west than where I drew it, but the most significant winds are in this area. They're in Sandy Hook, they're in West Liberty right now, they're north and east of Campton, working down towards the Mountain Parkway. And take a look at this. I mean, this is impressive. 74-mile-an-hour winds in the thunderstorm moving across the Mountain Parkway as we speak.
Is that a Barron issue or a Weather Service issue? Because they're not responding.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure why we're not getting those warnings to come through. There's probably something on their end, because usually if they push it through, we get an update on our own as well. and I haven't even seen that. So.
Yeah, so we're just trying to figure out, talking behind the scenes here, why the warnings are not populating in the system. But it seems this might be an issue for other folks as well, because it looks like some other media members saying it's not populating for them. So we'll continue to follow that. Also, Justin, just want to continue to update. We're just really getting reports. A lot of folks how to survey anything just yet, just because it's still ongoing. We're continuing to get some reports, though, of trees down, some small hail with some of these as well, but mainly trees down, power lines down, continuing to see a lot of power outages across the area. I want to try to update that. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to actually just show you the map with power outages here on links to if the control room is leaning in, and we can show you some of that. So you can see the power outages are now starting to roll in across a large portion of our viewing area here, which is pretty significant. We have over 1,500 without power in Robertson County, and that is where most of the, looks like those warnings just populated as well. But really quickly, I'll do this. Over 1,000 without power in Fleming, 3,000 in Harrison, 3,000 in Urban. It looks like 2,500 there, customers over that. Sterling, 600 in Bath, 1,500 in Rowan, in Menifee County, and now 800 in Powell County. So, and it looks like here in Lexington, over 3,000 without power. We have about 1,000 without power in Scott, 3,000 without power in Woodford, and over 1,000 without power now in Franklin County. Winds have definitely been out across eastern parts of our viewing area, and those are the areas though that are a little more rural, so that's likely why we're not seeing as high of numbers in that part of the region. But I'm looking at some of this other data, and again, we were talking Robertson County, for example. They have pretty much the whole county without power there, and then Harrison County, 30% of the county without power, 35% in Bourbon. Looks like about 21% in Nicholas of the county without power in some of those spots. So,
and we got a couple of updates for you here too. Emergency management here in Lexington is saying that Keene Road and Military Pike Road in Lexington has water covering the roadway. It's still passable, but not for all vehicles. So fair warning to those traveling in those areas today. I want to not to let your guard down. I know that there's not warning boxes popping up here across eastern Kentucky, but there certainly should be, and I think there's just a delay in their systems. They might be having some network issues in the Jackson Weather Office. So there is still some severe thunderstorms rolling into Salyersville right now and all the way up and down the Mountain Parkway from Stanton to Campton and beyond. So I'm going to draw a box. This is a temporary heads up until they can get theirs up running. That everybody inside this box here needs to be down in their safe space. I would say that this is an issue for everybody not being able to get there, not popping up on their website. So the office is having issues getting their warnings out. So
Justin, it looks like there's an outage there.
Right.
So again, like you said, don't let your guard down just because the warnings aren't showing up on the map, but it looks like they're having an outage. So.
Looks like one just came through as well, but again, I would say everybody that's even outside of this needs to be in their safe space. We're going to draw some warning boxes as things go on until these can catch up, because it looks like they're starting to trickle in now. But Magoffin County until 6:15, Breathitt County until 6:15. That's northern portions of Breathitt, all of Magoffin County. We've had a little bit of portions of Wolfe County back into this, Morgan County as well, where West Liberty is right now where the back end of this storm is going through, still in a destructive severe thunderstorm warned zone as these straight line wind potentials come in 70+ mile an hour, upwards of 80 miles an hour possible inside of the storm itself for some embedded roach. Even in that warning box there, I would probably extend this out just a little bit further to the east too, to kind of include some portions out towards Prestonsburg, because all this line is capable of producing that, and you can see it along some of the strongest velocities that are showing up. I would even take it back a little bit more of Wolfe County here tonight, because you can see near Campton, that zone right there that I drew up on the screen along the Mountain Parkway also has some of these strongest colors showing up. That's these blues right here, pockets of these lighter to darker blues all coming in. Those are the areas there where the most significant wind gusts will likely be. And they said that they tried to issue a couple of tornado warnings on top of that. I would say that looking at this, there's no big signs of rotation. That is well defined. But again, when we start to get these cells to run into each other and we're getting a little close to the Jackson radar site too, so it might be harder to see. But you can see it here, like in Salyersville, where the strongest winds like drew up. Guys, you should have been in your safe space already. There's some notches going on here. There's a little notching going on there. South of Paintsville, there's a little bit going on in the reflectivity. When we start to get these little notches in the line, that's where we could start to see maybe a little bit of rotation along with the straight winds. And so we need to keep that safe and that idea going for us here the rest of this evening. Severe thunderstorm warnings for Jessamine County, Fayette County, portions of Madison County, Woodford County, excuse me. Those are tonight. And so that warning is going to disappear, and our strongest storms are going to remain across eastern Kentucky as we go through. A couple more updates for you over in the Lexington metro area. Nicholasville Road at Lowry Lane, moderate roadway flooding. So the flash flooding concern will increase for us as these heavy rain showers continue to come in. There was also some reports in Madison County of trees 3 to 4 inches in diameter down in Indigo Run off Jacks Creek Road in Madison County. So some of those heavily wooded areas, these winds, they aren't playing around, even though radar's getting a bit messy now for us. That opportunity for some damaging wind gusts will continue to come in. Our entire viewing area where these storms have gone through already has seen some power outages. And so these are certainly causing some issues for us the rest of the way here tonight. I'm going to continue to monitor that situation because, again, eastern Kentucky, not a lot of warnings on here, but there are, in fact, tornado warnings for Menifee, Morgan, and Wolfe County tonight until, let me see, they continued that. They've pushed out the time a little bit later. It's moving 40 miles an hour. Golf ball size hail, all possible with this. This is starting to get down into these areas here where we're seeing all of these storms. National Weather Service is having issues with their connection, and so they're not able to get some of that information out onto our maps. It's not popping up. So let's do this. Okay, here's our areas where we're likely seeing the opportunity for the best rotation. Right here, circled in southern portions of Wolfe County, again getting into northern Breathitt County, and then portions of Magoffin County even. And even though they've included parts of, where did it go? Menifee, Wolfe and Morgan counties here tonight. So Wolfe County in on it too. This is the area where we're seeing the most rotation show up on our shear indicator. That's what this is that I'm showing you now. If we look at the swath, again, this is another reason why they're saying destructive on these severe thunderstorm warnings and why they're saying tornado warnings should be displaying on our screen, that they're not likely coming through soon. They will once they can get the connection fixed. So if you are in northern Breathitt County, if you are in Wolfe County here tonight, I would say all the way even as far west as Campton. If you're in West Liberty, obviously you're already in the safe space. Same with Salyersville, and then working out even towards like Johnson. The opportunity for some very strong straight line winds and some rotation are knocking on the door here. And we're running right to you. This is the Jackson National Weather Service right here. Radar. I'm circling just where the radar is because it's empty in the middle. So we're going to start to kind of lose some of the data into that. It gets very clouded, and when it does, it gets very difficult to read what specifically is going on there. And so we still can't go anywhere. Otherwise, we would have sent you back, but we've got significant severe weather potential still rolling through. Oh, look at this line, Peyton.
Yeah, Justin, I was just going to say, and I'm just going to make this easier for people to understand, and I think you were doing this a minute ago too. But if you are much in this area here, you should go ahead and get into your safe spot because warnings aren't appearing. And so we're just going to draw it on there and show you. And honestly, I would even argue probably this storm,
back towards Campton.
Over
oh, there they go.
Oh, there it goes. Maybe they've got it fixed. We're still not seeing the tornado warnings pop up. That again, this is mainly, and we've been saying this has mainly been a straight line wind threat that we've been talking about. But it looks like some of them are starting to go through. Also getting some reports of maybe some small trees down in Madison County, but that storm doesn't look as impressive there. Still continuing to watch this one that we've been talking about, surging through portions of eastern Kentucky. And you were showing some of that shear there getting closer, or some of that rotation there closer to the radar site. I also want to try to just throw back on the velocity. Now it's getting right on top of the radar in some spots, so it's hard to see exactly, but we're still getting some significant or some higher. But I will say this, they don't look as strong as they were just like an hour ago. So that could be some good news there. And still not seeing the rotation there. But again, people should still take this. It has a history of some very strong winds, and we're finally getting some of those warnings to populate a little bit better, but still not all of them showing up. So not sure what the issue is there. It looks like they're having issues. We've mentioned that at the Weather Service office in Jackson, and I think they're trying to get.
They're investigating.
Yeah, they're investigating. But yeah, it's not just us having those issues, so we're going to continue to stay with this. Menifee County starting to report some higher power outages in that area as well. I know we've been talking about that. Actually, Menifee over half of the county is out.
Yeah, a lot of county power outages for sure popping up through. I wanted to go over here from Mount Sterling. This was sent in. I know it's difficult to see. If we could go ahead and take it full, because
there you go.
That's how I go. Look at that tree down. That's a big branch, and down over the roadway there, making that obviously that side road difficult to traverse. I did not get a location this was sent to the newsroom. Other than that, it was in Mount Sterling, and so just a small indication of what some of these thunderstorms could be capable of moving forward. Of course, that looks like it's pretty close to some power lines, and so with these winds ripping through, certainly the opportunity for some of those trees to go down on power lines continue to enhance our problem. Peyton, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I just wanted to show that real quick. Looks like you might be finding some opportunities for some pictures as well.
Yeah, these are coming out of northern Kentucky in the Covington area. I'm just trying to search all through and find what we can. I know we have our folks in the newsroom doing this as well. But it looks like a lot of trees down across northern Kentucky as well. I know that's just outside our viewing area. Harrison County, obviously, we've been seeing some reports in some of those areas. Cynthiana, back towards Carlisle and Nickley. But this continues to drop south. And something we've been talking about too, and I want to mention this again, is the Weather Service is putting this out well in advance of where the line is, because it continues to show some stronger winds. And so they're continuing to put that out pretty far in advance, and that's why it's significant there. The good news is not really seeing any pockets of rotation at this point, but still, because I'm trying to swing over the velocity and show that here, still showing those stronger winds, though, especially with that part of the storm that's back from portions of Breathitt County up into Magoffin, back into Johnson County, and now working further south towards Prestonsburg as well, even though there's not a warning out there, or at least there's not appearing to be one there. And then we continue to see some of those severe thunderstorm warnings. I'm going to switch radar sites for Jessamine County, back into northern Madison County as well with this storm here. We don't want to minimize that, but the strongest winds at this point have been definitely with the storm, or the storms back off into portions of Kentucky. Still some gusty winds, though, with those storms in Jessamine and back into portions of northern Madison County as well. So I'm going to continue to keep trying to comb through and see reports. We have reporters headed to some of those areas hit with some of those stronger wind gusts. I'm also going to check the Mesonet again and see, get an update on some of those wind reports there, see what we're seeing there. Sorry, I'm trying to stay behind the scenes here and just work everything we're seeing.
Oh, you're doing great. No, you're doing great.
43 mile per hour wind in Powell County. And again, I want to emphasize, this is just at one specific location. That doesn't mean they haven't seen higher in the county. We had that 52 mile per hour gust at the Mesonet site in Clark County, 40 mile per hour in Bath, 50 in Rowan. Still the highest one is that 81 mile per hour gust in Nicholas County. And we're continuing to see those stronger line of storms working into portions of Breathitt, over into Magoffin County, now working in the direction of Floyd. So pretty much if you're Beattyville, Booneville, over towards Breathitt County as well, I'll be on the lookout for that. I know it's moving. It's actually about to move right over the Weather Service right now as we speak. So maybe we'll get an updated wind gust out of their office there. If they're not continuing to have network issues there, hopefully we'll get an update on that as well. And then, yeah, I'm just trying to comb through stuff.
Well, here, while we're doing that, why don't we go through these warnings one more time just to get everybody an idea. And we'll throw a tracker on this too, because these storms that are going towards the National Weather Service right now are starting to get in places like far south and eastern Magoffin County. They're starting to get to the edge of the box. So we'll likely see them start to draw up further downstream warnings for this as they continue. But let's just talk about the warnings that we've got. Ones that are back towards Fayette County here and Jessamine County, Madison County, those are going to be allowed to expire. As we continue to watch the rest of these, though, we've got from Estill County, including all of Lee, far eastern portions of Jackson, northern Clay. Owsley's in on this, the rest of Breathitt County on this as well, and then Magoffin County until 6:15. A destructive tag severe thunderstorm warning for 80-mile-an-hour winds possible, and also the opportunity for, we can't rule out, a brief spin-up tornado. This is destructive severe weather and is certainly causing many issues. It's had a history of producing 80-mile-an-hour winds already. It's also had a history of producing many power outages across the area, and so while we continue to track that opportunity for you tonight, those threats will exist as these go through here. The National Weather Service is currently saying in Breathitt County they are observing significant wind. What is reading? Well, once we start talking about 70-plus-mile-an-hour winds, that's when we talk about significant. And so the opportunity for them to be recording, and in the midst of the strongest part of the storm, likely some destructive winds rolling through right now as we speak, heading towards Jackson. So my folks in Jackson, time to get down and get safe if you haven't already, because this thing is right on the doorstep as we speak. Also seeing in Stanton area, reports of a roof blown off a mobile home on Maple Street in Stanton. Multiple trees have been reported down, and transformer fire reports across Powell County in the last 30 minutes. So these storms have been wreaking havoc across the area here tonight, and will continue to cause that issue as we go. Let's see, we are now moving into backup mode, which is interesting for the National Weather Service in Jackson. Losing connectivity or some kind of issue, the Ohio office is now going to coordinate with them to help get some of these warning out tonight so we can continue to track this potentially significant severe weather. So I wouldn't be surprised if some tornado warnings start to pop up on our map here shortly as they continue to produce that opportunity. But we will need to continue to monitor that situation, especially as we expect a new box to be developed here and drawn up across portions of southeastern Kentucky. Again, we're playing. This is the National Weather Service's duty, but of course, I would say that we're probably getting all the way down out ahead of this line, somewhere through Hindman, Hazard, Manchester areas, starting to talk about the Hal Rogers Parkway, including on this, where they're likely to draw a further severe warned box to include all the way down to our far southeastern Kentucky border, well ahead of this. Because again, they're still moving, what, 50, 55 miles an hour?
Yeah, and that should go to show you the Weather Service usually has backup generators and things, and they are down without power. So that just goes to show you that they're seeing some significant winds at their location there as well. I'm trying to effort some pictures right now of places. Looks like, okay, let me go ahead and see if I can drag this over to the screen. This is from Holly Hatmaker out in Paris. If we can take this, oh, here we go, it's up. You can see here, it looks like tree down on some power lines out there in Paris. I'm gonna take it down from the screen while I switch through because I don't wanna accidentally show something maybe we shouldn't, so I'm going to be very cautious about that. Looks like we have limbs down in Olive Hill, reports of that as well. I'm continuing to comb through some other photos here as well that we're finally starting to see some things come in. Look at this, the shelf cloud here coming through this was in Winchester ahead of the storm, so that has now passed there, but you can see a nasty looking storm that went Winchester just a little bit ago as well. So I'm going to continue to keep trying to comb through some of these photos here and see what we can get. It was posted on my page, so I'm trying to go through some of the comments.
Hey, Peyton, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
National Weather Service in Jackson is saying Breathitt, Northwest Perry County needs to seek shelter right now. They are issuing a tornado warning for the storm that is moving through Jackson as we speak. That those winds are significant, and of course they've had issues, and so they're pushing that out there ahead of time now, even though the box is not being drawn up. The leading edge of this storm that is working through southeastern Kentucky is producing significant and potentially severe winds upwards of tornadic strength. 80+ miles an hour is the threat. Possible tornado developing over Jackson as we speak. These are live reports coming from the National Weather Service right now. Of course, they are right in the heart of this storm, and it's going to be very difficult to find it on radar. Obviously, greens and reds going towards and away, you're not going to be able to see it. And so this is live observation report coming in from National Weather Service. And so the rest of Breathitt and Northwest Perry counties down into safe space. This is a tornado warning even get to pop up because of the significant severe weather is played at the National Weather Service office.
Well,
so again,
and this is so close to the radar site, you can't see anything. And the radar sites in Louisville and in Nashville and up in Wilmington are too far away. But they are seeing on the ground media. Okay, the Weather Service office in Jackson is now saying, please message possible tornado in Breathitt County right now. Possible tornado down in Breathitt County. They're sending updates in the chat to us, and they're trying to issue a tornado warning, but they are down. So the Wilmington office is also, it looks like, trying to help, but they're having some issues there. So if you are in Breathitt County, get into your safe spot right now. Treat this as a tornado warning, even though it is not populating on the map, because the National Weather Service office, they're having issues because they've lost power. They're trying to issue warnings and they can't get them out. So if you are in Breathitt County, right over Jackson right now, and I'm going to just switch back to the radar, you can see, Justin, again, it's so close to the radar site, but we may be seeing a little bit of a hook there. Do you see that just to the south of Jackson proper? It's still just so close, it's hard to tell. Yeah. But that's where they were saying that this possible tornado is. And their systems are just failing at this point, which is unfortunate. But the Wilmington office is in backup mode, but not sure why the Wilmington office isn't able to issue any of these warnings either. It seems, at least maybe they're trying to, and it's just not going through. Yeah, that's likely to the network issues and other things that they're experiencing at this point. The tornado warning is issued for Breathitt and Perry counties now until 6 p.m. No, that's backwards too. So that hasn't even come in all the way either. Likely till actually probably about 6:15, 6:30 would be my guess. And again, it's all across Jackson. And let's see if we can't get down right on this, because again, this is where our biggest threat's going to be. All through Jackson, you're talking about places like Wolverine, some smaller communities here in Quicksand, Portsmouth, Noctor, and apologies if I'm mispronouncing those, but that is where the likelihood of this possible tornado would be in Jackson as we speak. Moving to the south and east at roughly 55 miles an hour. So this thing is likely cruising along here for us, and we should be able to hopefully get a better read on this in the next couple of minutes as it moves further away from the radar site. Again, trying to view it, but just can't because we're too close. And so with that, they're just going to have to continue to provide those live updates. It's a seek shelter immediately situation out of the county and in Jackson, and that is where the strongest portion of this storm is. Flying blind basically at this point in terms of warnings. Anywhere along here inside of the warning that's already dropping this little line that I produced for you right now, you should probably be down in your safe space in anticipation of this storm working your direction. Now, specifically towards the straight line wind threat, that is everybody that needs to get down into their safe space. Again, they're working very hard to get that tornado warning to pop up so we can't draw it. I would say anywhere inside this little box here, the tornado threat is imminent. And I'll draw it again for you so you can see Jackson through southern Breathitt County into northern portions of Perry County, not maybe all the way towards Hazard yet or Hyman yet, but we are still talking about the potential for an ongoing tornado in that spot as we speak, and the National Weather Service cannot get those warnings to populate because of some maybe the damage or connectivity issues that they are having in that zone. And Justin, I just want to say this is also a problem because people are probably not getting them on their phones either. So a tornado warning is probably not going through to anyone's phones at this point because, again, the warnings are not going through at this point, and they're messaging us in the chat, and they're trying to get it to go through, and it's just not working. So I want to call out some of these specific towns because, again, this could be a life-threatening situation, and unfortunately the warnings are not going out, which is really concerning because folks are not going to be getting it on the phone. Right. If you're in Copland, Little, Watts, Clayhole, Roosevelt, Wolf Cole, Altro, Barwick, even down into Lamont, Ingle, Dice, Stacy, Knapfer, Cripton, down into Perry County, you need to get into your safe spot because this is potentially a life-threatening situation. And again, you're not going to get the alerts on your phone at this point because they're having some issues and it's just not going through. Some warnings are and some aren't. So if you're just down the line, also Jackson, you should still be in your safe spot at this point. And this is right over the radar site in at the Weather Service office there in Jackson. So as we've been mentioning, the radar imagery just isn't that great at this point. But if you're in some of these smaller communities here from Breathitt down into northern Perry County, you need to get in your safe spot right now as we speak. I'm actually going to draw this out. Do we know how quickly it's moving, Justin?
They have not been able to get that through, but the whole line has had a history of about 55 miles an hour.
Okay,
I would
so
say
it's
we're probably
moving
still
pretty
pushing
quick.
close to that. I would also say too that places like Leslie County out ahead of this, and then portions of even maybe in parts of Knott County as the line itself comes through. There's the opportunity for still a main edge 70 to 80 plus mile an hour winds
And it's moving
as we go in.
It's moving so quickly, but we're talking about the next 5 to 10 minutes for Copland, Little, Wick, Watts, Clayhole, Hardshell, these very rural areas down into Breathitt County, Roosevelt, Wolf Cole, Altro, probably the next 10 minutes or so. Okay, we just got to update. Here's what I'm going to do. We are going to treat, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get this image up onto the screen from the Weather Service so we can show you. Actually, you know what, we'll just draw it. That'll probably be easier. So
yeah, it's that same area, Prestonsburg down through Hindman, Hazard, and then back up to like Boonville and Beattyville. Across that line there,
yes, so
it still exists.
Here's what we're going to do. If you are in this area, I'm just going to draw a big polygon here. You should treat this as a warning. If you're in this area here, and I know it's, I'm going to try to move the map from Pikeville to Floyd County, Knott County, Perry County, over towards Leslie County, Clay County as well. You should treat this as we're in that destructive severe thunderstorm warning, and we're continuing to watch for the point, or at least the tornado warning could potentially still be in portions of Breathitt County, and that's why this is not an ideal situation. You need to be in your safe spot. We're seeing high winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. It looks like should prepare for imminent high winds. If you're in this box we just drew on the map, prepare for severe winds, possibly destructive winds, and unfortunately the Weather Service is just not able to get warnings to come out. So this is just a significant issue there. And then also for the tornado warning, the rough area of concern is from Jackson down to Lost Creek, and then down into northern Perry County from, it looks like, Yerkes, Chavies. These are the areas that are potentially in that tornado warning. So let's see if we can zoom in on that. So that is, tornado warning potentially is for, let's see if we can draw back on here again, for these areas down into Breathitt and northern Perry County. I know it's horrible, I apologize. But down, again, if you're Chavies, Beach, Altro, Barwick, Lamont, Ingle, Ned, Wick, Roosevelt, these communities, you need to be in safe spot because this is the area of concern for the tornado warning here. This area I just highlighted in this blue box. If you are in this area of Breathitt County and northern Perry County, Barwick Road, I'm going to zoom in since we can't get these warnings, Bowery River, Caney Road. I apologize if I'm pronouncing some of these wrong. Wicklick Branch, Little Creek Road, John Little Road. These are the areas where there could possibly be a tornado that is of concern. And down into northern Perry County, Chavies, Dunraven Road, Krypton Lick Branch Road. I mean, I'm just zooming way in on these because the warnings are not showing up, but these are the areas that need to be of concern for a possible tornado warning. Justin?
Yeah, and as we continue to watch these roll to the south and east, like you've heard Peyton said many times, that they're just not able to get all of these all the way through. The comms issues aren't working either, so they are just going to continue to send us basically pictures, and we're going to keep drawing boxes for you. Now, I can say that as we continue through the next couple of minutes, obviously this destructive severe thunderstorm warning for portions of, say, Owsley and Jackson and Lee County and Breathitt County and Clay County, while these storms look a little less potent at this point, we are starting to see the main portion of this storm start to get a little further away from the Jackson radar. So we're getting a better image here on the velocity reading. And still, I would say anywhere along this line here, as we roll through the next couple of minutes, is going to possibility for those 60-mile-an-hour winds. That's the rating that they've got it on now. So if they were able to get these warnings through, they would no longer carry the destructive tag with them. There's still going to be severe thunderstorm warnings with a tornado possible tag, but they would likely be the destructive portion of that. So as they continue into southeast Kentucky. Again, we've been drawing boxes in lieu of the inability for them to, and that was a little squiggly, but we'll fix that. They're going to start to move across the Hal Rogers Parkway and into far southeastern Kentucky, moving 50 miles an hour to the south and east. And you can see along this leading edge that we do not have anything that looks like good rotation or significant rotation or anything of a couplet at this point. And so I think once we hit about 6:15 here, our show is going to begin at 6:30 tonight. So they are no longer going to have the destructive tag, or they wouldn't, because these are rated for 60-mile-an-hour winds. We may hold off on that until we get an update to see if there is opportunity for maybe that tornado possibility still. Again, that was mainly south of Jackson, but we can see here on radar now what the velocities are looking like. And once more, I don't see anything here that indicates strong rotation. It could be rain-wrapped. It could be embedded within the straight-line winds that are going through. That's certainly not out of the question. But again, I think that as this rolls through and we get a picture of what's going on here, we're starting to get towards the edge of the Fox 56 viewing area. So as they get out of Breath and into Perry County, as they kind of roll through portions of Clay County, then we will start to see these exit the region and our original normal newscast at 6:30 with some more weather updates, of course, I think can go on as scheduled. The tornado warning that they originally drew from Jackson, I'm going to draw another box here so you can see.
Hey, Justin, that tornado warning is going to go till 6:30.
Yep, that's what I was just about to make. From Jackson down through northern Perry, right here, that's until 6:30 p.m. So that's going to go right up to the start of our newscast, and with that we will likely roll right into our newscast unless they say that we need a new tornado warning. So
Justin, I just also want to jump in here too, and if our newsroom is lit, okay, so in Powell County we have 96% of the county without power in Powell County. So, and I was just texting with their emergency manager in Powell County, and he said they're still assessing damage there, so he's going to try to update me when they more. But that might be an area, if the newsroom is listening, we may want to try to send somebody down, one of our reporters down to that part of the region as well, as we're continuing to look into some of these damage reports here. Continuing to try to get info. It looks like, well, now we're not seeing any warnings on the map. So it looks like even though the Weather Service office in Wilmington, I think, took over, they're not, it's still...
Hey, there goes one right there.
Where'd it go?
It just popped up.
Here we go. Maybe we're going to start getting them to populate on the screen now again.
Oh, and it is destructive still as well. So they're holding that 80-mile-an-hour potential, and this is now through 7 p.m.
And hopefully, maybe the well, it looks like the Wilmington office isn't really able to issue these either, because they were backup for Jackson, and it looks like they're not really being able to issue them either, at least to where they populate on the map.
Well, something's coming up, so this is at least helpful. So let's talk about this. Please thumbs up if, okay, yeah, we can see that one. That's good. So here's the deal with this storm. So since it's continuing to move to the southeast, I still think that I don't know if they mentioned that they want to push this over or not to include more of Breathitt County where these storms are going through. Like Boonville right now, McKee, you guys are on the edge of some thunderstorm activity still. And so those significant winds are still possible. But this leading edge is the one to watch out for. It's starting to move into like Floyd, Knott counties, and then Pike County and Letcher County till 7 p.m. So again, this is starting to exit Magoffin County here till 7 p.m., Breathitt till 7 p.m., and portions of Martin County. But the leading edge of this storm is where the most significant winds will likely be. And so with we're going to hold on to this just for a few more minutes, I think, until it can continue to move a little further out. But now you're talking about starting to get just outside of our viewing area, which would allow us to kind of regroup and get you the most up-to-date information as we move forward. So again, Salyersville, Magoffin County, you're still in on this warning until 7 p.m., but you are on the backside of this now. Paintsville, same story in Johnson County, Floyd County till 7, and then far eastern Breathitt County until 7 p.m. So what I will tell you here as we move through this, 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts are possible on the leading edge where I'm highlighting it on your map right now. Possibly even further east of that where they haven't quite drawn a warning box. That's what velocity is showing. Of course, we go to reflectivity. It's not lining up the same. The lightning is most significant in that destructive category. As we continue to monitor as it works to the southeast. I think what we're going to do is we're going to allow that to continue. We're going to regroup. We're going to come back in about 12 minutes with the latest update. Again, everybody inside this warning box needs to stay in their safe space. And then as we get into our live newscast here at 6:30, we're going to have the most up-to-date information on this warning. We're also going to talk about some of the warnings that have come up and what you can expect the next couple of days. Our severe threat continues in a small capacity tomorrow, but our flood threat is going to increase for us the rest of the way, both tonight, tomorrow, Thursday, and possibly into Friday as well. So hope everybody was able to stay safe out there. Thanks for turning to Fox 56, your weather authority, for your weather coverage. For myself, meteorologist Justin Esterly, for Peyton Hinkle, we thank you, and we hope you stay safe. We'll be back in about 10 minutes with the latest updates.
Download the Fox 56 Weather Authority app today. Live from Lexington, our home, your news. This is Fox 56 News at 6:30.
Good evening and thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Andrea Walker. Strong storms are moving across central and eastern Kentucky tonight with damaging winds and power outages, the main concerns right now. We want to get right to meteorologist Justin Esterly. He's been busy tracking everything out for us this evening. Justin, what are those latest numbers? What are we looking at right now?
Yes, good evening. Still tracking the opportunity for some significant wind gusts here. We've got a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings still draped across eastern Kentucky tonight, where we're seeing the history of storms that have produced 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts earlier in their lifespan continue to cycle through southeastern Kentucky. Now, radar has gotten a bit messy. The strongest of this storm moving into Pikeville here this evening. So it's likely moving out of parts of the Fox 56 viewing area, but we do still have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings in place for us until 7 p.m. for portions of Wolfe County, Lee County tonight, Owsley County as well. The rest of Breathitt County still in one till 7 p.m. And then we get into northern Clay County. Everything outside of that, also in northern Perry County. Everything outside of that is on the fringe or outside of the Fox 56 viewing area, but Magoffin County still in a destructive severe thunderstorm warning until 7 p.m. They're on the backside of this storm as it continues to really work through portions of, say, Floyd and Knott County this evening. Each of these storms will be capable of producing those straight line winds on top of the opportunity for some rotation, especially on the front line. The most significant of this storm opportunity right now, I'll show you here on the velocity reading. I'm going to take the radar off, or the lightning off there, so we can get a closer look, and if it will cooperate with me, we will zoom in a little bit as well so you can see. Again, the strongest of these storms are likely along this leading edge from Pikeville all the way past Heineman even, and moving out of the area now towards Hazard. They're south of Jackson, south of Boonville, south of Beattyville, but there's still very heavy rainfall there. There's still the opportunity for frequent lightning and some gusty winds to come flow out of the backside. So we'll need to keep an eye on how these go. No tornado warning at this point. All of them has since expired. National Weather Service office in Jackson has been having communication issues with network today, and so we haven't been able to get all the warnings at the same time. We're going to hold this just for a minute longer here, Alex, while we take a look at these new warnings that were just issued out ahead of this. Again, the main line mainly for 60+ mile-an-hour winds, now including the rest of Jackson into Laurel counties, and again over into Rockcastle County now till 7:15 p.m. This line is starting to work back together and form the opportunity for gusty, damaging straight line winds, the most destructive east, but all of these still filling in back along this line will have the possibility of producing that, and they have had a history of moving very quickly. These looking a little bit slower, maybe 30 to 40 miles an hour in their total speed. So from Mount Vernon to McKee to Boonville and back up to Beattyville, and in Jackson, heavy rainfall, gusty, damaging winds, still a possibility. I want to show you one more thing from the history of these storms so far tonight. We have had incredible power outages across the area. Look at that in Powell County, 6,500 customers without power. In Fayette County, 3,500. Back in Bourbon, 3,000. Keep it going here. Most of the area seeing what is a straight line damaging wind event continue to unfold. Southern and eastern Kentucky catching up with that some now, and we'll likely see these continue to expand through the rest of the evening. We're going to try to continue along with our regularly scheduled news program here tonight, but should new information come about, I will be cutting back in during the opportunities for these stories. So as that takes place, I'll have more information, of course, but for now, I'll send it back over to Andrea.
All right, good deal, Justin. And we do have crews out across the area right now gathering information and getting video of some of the damage left behind by these storms. And we'll have all of that for you tonight on Fox 56 News at 10. And sticking with weather right now, it is.
This is Fox 56 News with Andrea Walker and weather with Justin Esterly.
All right, hey, welcome back in. I wanted to give you one more quick update here on severe thunderstorm warnings that are up across southeastern Kentucky, and then another heads up of a potential second wave coming through for us. Yes, a busy night for us, no doubt, as we have more storms on the horizon here into the evening. Here's an update of the kind of the mess of boxes that's in southeastern Kentucky. For the most part, the significant severe weather is ongoing across far southeastern Kentucky outside of the Fox 56 viewing area. Tornado warning in Pike County and the destructive tag along this leading line to the southeast. But we've got new warnings that have popped up for like Letcher, Leslie, Clay, and farther into Bell County here for us tonight till 7:45. It's for this line of storms working down through parts of McKee and into Rockcastle County, Mount Vernon, and then back towards Breathitt. All of those areas still have a chance for 60+ mile-an-hour wind gusts, torrential rainfall, and the opportunity for maybe a brief spin up. But for the most part, we are free from tornado warnings. It's outside of the viewing area. Quickly need to touch one more time, and we're going to talk about this in the full forecast as well. There is another storm working its way our direction right now in southern portions of Indiana, and it's heading along the same line as this last one did. So we'll have something to continue to keep an eye on here through the next several hours. Tonight I'll have more updates coming up in the full forecast in just a bit.
All right, thank you, Justin. More than a year after a deadly tornado.
Now, your forecast from Fox 56 News, the weather authority.
All right, hey, welcome back in. We've got a mess of warnings up across southeastern Kentucky here tonight. There is some opportunity for severe weather here for us to continue. There is also something we need to mention out of the gate. There was a momentary lapse in connection for the National Weather Service office in Jackson. So not all of these warnings are valid. That's going to make things kind of confusing here, so bear with me as we discuss. The main line of storms is moving across into far southeastern Kentucky, almost out of the state. It does include portions here of Perry County until 7:45. So this main line right here from Pikeville all the way down through Whitesburg and over to Hazard, that is the main line of potentially destructive 70+ mile-an-hour winds and the opportunity for maybe a brief spin-up tornado. There is a red blinking box in Breathitt County in northern Perry. That is a delayed warning. It is not accurate. It is not active right now. That is an old tornado warning that went through earlier. It has since been expired. So we ignore the red box. The red box not happening right now. You won't ever hear me say that again. Hopefully. Anyway, we've got another round of storms moving from Mount Vernon to Boonville, still warned here for us. That's Clay County, northern portions of Clay County. You got all of in McKee and Jackson County, Laurel till 7:15. Severe thunderstorm warning still ongoing for us there as these 60-mile-an-hour winds will be possible along this line. Let's talk about who's in the clear. We haven't had a chance to really discuss that here as storms have gone on. Campton, clear. West Liberty, clear. Stanton, clear. Mount Sterling, clear. Irvin, clear. Richmond, clear. Nicholasville, heavy rainfall and thunderstorms still ongoing. No severe warning, not fully clear. As we look at Stanford, Danville, Harrodsburg, Liberty, and Casey County storms ongoing there. Not severe warned, but wouldn't call it a clear because there's just activity ongoing and there could be some large hail in the mix. These storms will continue to work out. These rest will just kind of hang about and potentially turn strong to severe at times for us here tonight, but we will be monitoring yet another potential wave of storms. Notice how we look back off to the west through Louisville and up towards here. Another mesoconvective complex is moving its way our direction, holding together nicely and riding a line for us here. I'm going to draw this up so you can see. Riding this line here, areas that have already been hit by severe weather, but there is energy still available in that corridor. There's an opportunity that we see another round of severe weather later tonight. We'll need to keep a close eye on that and its progress as it works in. There are some dry spots in here. You'd think one round of storms and the atmosphere is burnt out. It's not. It's got a lot of juice still, and so we could see some more warnings pop up here or there as the night goes on. I want to show you a couple of the reasons why this is important for us the rest of the way. There are severe thunderstorm watches until 8 p.m. still. The ones that are further out to the north and east till 8 p.m. But for the most part, all of this activity moves out in the next hour or two, but the new activity might prompt an extension to this as we go into the rest of this evening. With that, the threats will remain the same. mainly wind and heavy rainfall. I want to touch on the flooding opportunity because we haven't had a chance for that either. There is a possibility of some flash flooding tonight. This next line of storms that comes through has the opportunity to expand more heavy rainfall, and some areas could be experiencing a couple inches of rain through the overnight tonight and into tomorrow, and it continues as we go with the flood watch through 8 a.m. on Wednesday. That is what is currently ongoing here, but more rounds of rain are expected not only tomorrow, but for our Thursday as well. With the imminent threat that we have the rest of tonight, though, focusing on the short-term forecast, we'll have more, of course, later tonight and on our website as things come in. I mean, look at the damage that we've seen across the area just in power outages from the storms that rolled through the first time. Few counties with thousands of customers without power, and there's an opportunity for more to trickle in as we move the rest of the way. While we've got more severe weather to cover, I will show you the 7-day one time here quickly so you can going to stay hot, humid, more storms possible the next several days. I'll have another update for you coming up in just a little bit.
Download the Fox 56 Weather Authority app today. Live from Lexington, our home, your news. This is Fox 56 News at 7.
Thanks so much for staying with us. I'm Andrea Walker, and weather is, of course, the top story this evening, with powerful storms striking across central and much of eastern Kentucky. A lot of powerful winds out there. I think Justin was mentioning 70-mile-per-hour winds across this state. We're also seeing a lot of power outages. I've spoken with several people myself with power outages right now. Tens of thousands of customers right now in the dark. Let's go ahead and check in with Justin. Justin, where are we seeing the strongest storms this evening, and are things starting to calm down yet?
Yeah, I mean, as we continue to look at it, I just pushed the button. Okay, quick update on the county power outages. You can see where these storms have left a history of so many people without power. Powell County, the take home right now, 6,500 customers without power, but all of the bluegrass and from the I-64 pointing to the east across our mountain parkways and then now down through Breathitt counties and further to the southeast, power is being wiped out by some very strong wind gusts that have been in excess and at times 80 miles an hour. We've had reports of 80, we've had reports of 60, and they continue to push out of Kentucky now with the strongest of storms still along this little Boeing-like segment leaving the state. But if we work back, there's still warnings all the way from Breathitt County through Owsley, Clay. You got portions of Jackson County in there, Laurel and Rockcastle, also southern portions of Estill County right now until 7:15 and or 7:30, where these strong storms are still rolling across. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts from Rockcastle over to Breathitt, and then 70-plus-mile-an-hour winds in the stronger portion here that's now moving out of the state. With that, we will likely see these tone back. We've got little cells popping up all across Casey County, into Lincoln County, back towards Garrett, portions of Madison, Jessamine County, Boyle County. Those are all sub-severe, but capable of producing 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts and maybe some smaller hail as we roll through the rest of tonight. This is what has come through already to make for a very busy afternoon. Now, as we roll forward and take a look at what could be next, I just want to show you what's on the horizon for us through the rest of tonight. As we look off to our northwest, another strong complex of storms is working along the same path that those storms that had just traveled from and now through were going. And so we're expecting this complex to arrive probably closer to 9 or 10 o'clock as it works to the southeast. You would think that one round of storms rolled through, there's not as much juice. But unfortunately, this area, even though it has hit with thunderstorms, there's still a corridor of energy available that these storms could feed on, and they really don't need much. A straight line wind event possible for us once more as we roll into tonight. Now, there is a watch that's still in play through the next hour or so. We might see that get extended or reissued as that next wave comes a little bit closer. Once these storms move out, we'll probably see those watches be replaced or allowed to expire. But until that next line comes in, I wouldn't put your guard down just yet. Make sure you have your alerts on and make sure you have a way to get our alerts, because we will have that opportunity for more wind and heavy rainfall that could lead to some potential flooding for us overnight tonight. Again, there's a flood watch in place for us through 8 a.m. Wednesday. With that, we could see some of the flash flood warnings come up, a couple inches of rain in a quick amount of time, and there's a lot more rain coming Wednesday and Thursday. I'll have full details coming up again in your full forecast.
Thank you, Justin.
Hey, welcome back in. Just wanted to give you a quick update on another severe thunderstorm warning that has popped up here for us tonight. We've got a new warning for portions of Pulaski County, Laurel County, one that's been tucked back into parts of Lincoln and Casey County now, and actually in portions of McCreary and Whitley County, northern portions of Knox County too, kind of filling in along this line. Again, the tornado warning that's over here in Breathitt County, not real. The other storms are set to expire here in the next couple of minutes. With this, though, we're looking at 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and the opportunity for some torrential rainfall, along with maybe some 1-inch hail. And again, to note that these are just kind of lingering showers and storms forming along the same line coming through. Not seeing much here outside of radar, but we are looking at the potential for maybe some brief weak rotation in here, too. So we need to keep an eye on these storms as they continue to walk to the south. Again, with new updates here for portions of Casey, Lincoln, Pulaski County, portions of Laurel County now, and Whitley and McCreary until 8 p.m. More updates to follow here in the next couple of minutes.
All right, thank you, Justin.
Now, your forecast from Fox 56 News, the weather authority.
All right, hey, welcome back in. Quite a bit to talk about here as we continue our severe weather threat through the rest of this evening. We already had one strong line of storms blow through with observed 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts with that. We are now seeing the majority of that work to southern and eastern Kentucky with some warnings still ongoing. We have an update to the next round that's already knocking on the door as well. To the north and west, another strong line of storms is heading our direction, and that line, while likely not as strong, still posing a straight line wind threat and the opportunity for torrential rainfall. Upticking are also opportunity for flash flooding. That could be a concern for us after the storm's severity has weakened and the heavy rainfall fully takes over. We need to talk about the severe warnings still ongoing across southern Kentucky. A couple of our friends right now in London and in Pulaski County there in Somerset likely to be dealing with some very heavy rain, the potential for some damaging winds on the front end of this line, and as the opportunity persists for maybe a brief spin up. That's been the history with these storms as they've come through. Now, the most severe have moved out to the south and east. Currently, we're watching all along our Cumberland and Hal Rogers Parkways, lines of storms coming through. Right now in London, likely heavy rain. Liberty and down through northern Pulaski County, some gusty damaging wind potential for us as these storms continue to whip through. Let's go over to velocity and see. A couple things to note here that we need to discuss as well. I'm starting to see things that I don't really like here when we have these storms running together. There is a bunch of little areas on here. Okay, stop doing that. A bunch of little areas on here where there is little notches taking place. Some rotation there, rotation there, rotation there, rotation there. I'm seeing rotation there and rotation there. Okay, so all along this line, these tiny little areas where we could see a quick, brief spin-up tornado exist are all rolling on in that line for us here tonight. I'm just going to walk over to the computer because technology is being silly here this evening. And so as we continue to monitor that situation, there's the opportunity for a couple of significant winds and or some possibilities for some brief spin-ups. This is all looking kind of dangerous here across portions of Pulaski County tonight, but there's no warnings on them as of right now. Wouldn't rule it out, though, that there possibly be a kick-up of a couple of these as we move forward. Here's the other thing I need to note. The National Weather Service offices have been having some difficulty. Jackson is getting backup from St. Louis because their communications are down at this time. And so we are not only in a dangerous situation, but we're also kind of in a dead zone with the way they can issue warnings. So what we've got right now through 7:30 p.m. is for Casey County and portions of Lincoln County, severe thunderstorms, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Rockcastle County over to Jackson, portions of Clay, Laurel, Pulaski, northern McCreary, Whitley, and Knox, including the town of Corbin, inside a severe thunderstorm warning till 8 p.m. Again, the biggest issue I'm seeing right now is all these little notches in this line that could be producing quick spinning. There, maybe a couple on this front edge, there and there. So we're going to need to keep an eye on that as we continue through the rest of this evening. Also, further to the east along Hal Rogers Parkway towards Leslie County, parts of Clay County, over into Knott County, Perry County, all the same story as we go through. Everybody behind this, Beattyville, Boonville, Jackson, McKee, Berea, although it is raining in Richmond, you're all in the clear for right now. But again, more opportunities for severe weather exist into tonight. They have now updated and extended the time, and it's not coming through because, again, issues with communications with the National Weather Service coming in. We now have until 9 p.m. a severe thunderstorm watch all across this area, and that is going to be for this next line coming through. We're looking at all of the same threats here for you, and it's going to be a busy one here for us the next couple of hours. Wind and flooding are the biggest concerns we have moving forward. Keep your alerts handy. Be prepared for some updates. I'm going to be on standby here for you the rest of tonight as these storms work through. I'll have more updates for you, of course, coming up as the night rolls on. For now, we'll toss it to break.
Download the Fox 56 Weather Authority app today.
All right, hey, welcome back in. Just one more quick weather word before we go ahead and send you out for this evening. We will likely have more cut-ins to talk about as a strong to severe line of thunderstorms works in from the northwest once again here this evening. The severe thunderstorm watch, just wanted to make a quick correction on that. For portions of southeastern Kentucky, it is being extended until 10 p.m., although not showing up in our system, and across the bluegrass until 9 p.m. Again, there's this line of storms to our northwest that we're watching, and we still have leftover severe weather across southern and eastern Kentucky that we will continue to watch. And we're going to continue to have the opportunity for straight line winds for us tonight and the possibility of some brief spin ups along with very heavy rainfall. From Liberty down through our Cumberland Parkways and across portions of our Hal Rogers Parkway, severe line of storms capable of producing 60-mile-an-hour winds, and the opportunity for some of those brief spin ups is occurring. Heavy rainfall also possible within this, and we'll need to watch as those continue to progress to the south rather slowly, about 30 to 40 miles an hour. Again, another line of storms to our northwest to watch for this evening as it moves in, likely straight line wind potential with that. And so we will likely be back soon with more updates as things develop. I'll have all the latest updates for you, of course, too, coming up tonight at 10.
From Fox 56 News, the Weather Authority, this is a severe weather alert.
All right, hey, welcome back in. Got to touch on some more severe thunderstorm warnings that have been issued. A flash flood warning for portions of Casey and Lincoln County, and then our next round of storms working our direction and the latest update on that. Currently now, the latest update from the Jackson National Weather Service office has extended the next round of severe warnings all the way down to the southern Kentucky border. This includes the rest of Pulaski County and southern Laurel counties, now getting into portions of Whitley, McCreary, and Wayne counties here tonight until 8:45 p.m. This line capable of producing 60-mile-an-hour winds, torrential rainfall, possibly some penny-sized hail, and also the opportunity for some frequent lightning, maybe a brief spin-up possible with this as well. Even though there's no tag at this point, you see all these little cells kind of competing with each other. When they collide a little bit, there could be some quick spin-up rotation. It's all moving to the south at roughly 35 to 40 miles an hour, so not taking a very quick path anymore, but it will continue to plague our warning boxes here over the course of the next 45 minutes or so. The rest of the severe weather in eastern Kentucky are all clear. It's just this leftover line that we're watching now for the imminent possibility of severe storms. As we look here, there's also a flash flood warning now till 10:45 for portions of Casey County, as well as it just leaks into Lincoln County. Again, these are areas that have seen the potential of a couple inches of rain in a short amount of time, allowing for that opportunity for some pooling to take place. And so if you're in Liberty, there's a chance for some flash flooding to be ongoing here for us into the rest of this evening. Because these storms aren't moving quickly and there's more rain to come, I'll touch quickly on what's coming in from the northwest, and if we could see some severe weather from that. The latest round has not been pushed severe here for us again. It's been weakening a little bit as it comes into the Louisville metro, but this could bring an increase for more flooding potential as we go through the rest of this evening, should it hold together and continue to produce heavy rainfall. We'll be monitoring that. We'll have more updates as this storm moves into southern Kentucky, if new boxes are issued and new warnings are updated. Otherwise, the threat is starting to weaken a little bit, and we should be getting clear from at least severe winds as we get into the next couple of hours tonight. Watching the rest of the northwest, and I'll have more updates for you as the night rolls on, should some new warnings come about. Until then, meteorologist Justin Esterly, stay safe.
Download the Fox 56 Weather Authority app today.